Yo, we are back in the building. That's right. It's Divine Sense Boxing back in the building. Salute to everyone dropping in early. I appreciate you. Hope you guys had a good day and winding down for the night, kicking your feet up, listen to a little bit of Divine Sense Boxing before you go to bed tonight. I appreciate you immensely. I got Tim, Nick, first one in the building. Was good, my man, Tim. Shout out to Tim, by the way. He dropped a little bit of knowledge on one of my posts, which kind of perked my interest about Deontay Wilder. I went and did some research, and I'm going to have a nice little article for you guys tonight. So stand by. We got my man, Mangus Allen. I appreciate you, Mangus Allen, reminding the people to hit that like button, get the likes all the way up. As soon as you guys step in, it should be double jab, uppercut that like button. Let the people know we're in here talking boxing. We got the lovely Deanna in the building. Hope you're having a good day and a good night tonight, Deanna. We got the Demon in the building. We got Gnarly Ray dropping in those bombs. That's right, Bomb Squad. And we got Isaiah Felix in the building. Good to see you. And for all my official members of the channel, if you can do me a favor and go ahead and drop the custom Wilder emoji in the chat right now. Drop the custom Wilder emoji in the chat because Wilder is back. Deontay Wilder, Bronze Bomber, is back. And it's something to be excited about. And that's why we gotta plaster Deontay Wilder's face everywhere now, just to remind the people that the king is back. So let that be known for all of my official members in the channel. And like I said, we've got 16 people in here, and we should have 16 likes automatically. How do we not? I don't know, but it needs to happen. There goes Deanna dropping in that custom emoji right there. We got Pay Styles in the building. What's up, Pay Styles? All right. So first thing that I want to do is I know that 78 has already went live about this. He kind of talked to the people earlier this morning, I believe, about Deontay Wilder's return. We know that 78 is really close to Deontay, so he's going to have a lot of, inside information. What's up, Don? And whatnot. But I did come across a kind of interesting article about Deontay Wilder and his comeback, which I'm not sure what to think about it exactly. I'm going to share it with you guys, and y'all can leave your opinions in the chat on what you think about the article that has been posted about Deontay's return. Now, there is a reason why I put in, the title of the live stream saying, Deontay's back, but not at heavyweight, right? So there is some speculation, and I highlight that word speculation in quotation marks, of him not being at heavyweight and actually dropping down either to a bridgerweight or a cruiserweight. And so I don't know how true that is, but there are some articles appearing about that. So we're going to pull that up here in a moment. And yeah, hey, Tim, I appreciate that, bro. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and share this article with you guys to kick it off right off the bat, to keep you guys updated on what is being said out here in the boxing world. Just give me a moment as I pull it up, and we will read along together. All right. So we've been hearing the rumors now for quite some time about his comeback, but we weren't quite sure on rather, he's going to come back and go for a title right away. He's going to do a tune-up or whatever the case is. But it looks like the rumors are true in regards to him coming back for sure. I would say it's probably about 95%. Now it's the question of, what I'm saying, who is he going to fight, and is he going to come back as a heavyweight? And here is an article that popped up that I found. So it says, Deontay Wilder weight drop brings WBC Bridgerweight title poser. Very interesting title of an article. And this is from worldboxingnews.net. Now, we already know, and we've been over this on previous lives, that there are a lot of boxing articles that are very biased against Deontay Wilder. Yes, I said it. Against Deontay Wilder. Oh, Devon, don't start that shit again, man. It's not about that. Well, I've already discussed this and have proven this point, that there are so many articles and people out there who have big Instagram channels, TikTok, Twitter, whatever it may be, basically plastering Deontay Wilder's face all over the internet of, him getting off the canvas, or him being knocked out, or him being bloody, busted up, and continuing to this day to basically make fun of him and put him in a negative light. So I'm the type of person where, I'm a critical thinker, right? Things catch my eye very quickly. I'm not somebody who just browses over things or brushes over things. So when I see a title like Deontay Wilder weight drop brings WBC Bridgerweight title poser, I'm like, Now I wonder where this article is going to take me, and I wonder if they're going to, play their role into attacking Deontay Wilder like so many others are currently doing, which is a fucking shame. Which is a shame. And my thing is before I get into the article, I know people are still filtering in. I appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. SM in the building. What's good? SM, do me a favor, and you're an official member of the channel. Go ahead and drop that custom Wilder emoji. Let's put a positive light on the Bronze Bomber. What's up, Eric? Good to see you. So my thing is this, right? Is that if you don't like Wilder, if you're a Fury fan, then whatever, it's boxing. We all have our favorite fighters. We try not to be subjected to a race-driven sport. Nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to acknowledge it. I've had several people on the panel saying, oh, come on, Devon, man. It's not about race. Okay. Well, if it's not about race, if that doesn't matter, and you're a Fury fan and it has nothing to do with race, then why can't you come out and say that Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury gave us one of the greatest trilogies in heavyweight boxing history? And I have a lot of respect for Deontay Wilder for taking part in that and showing grit, heart, and determination. And not only that, nobody gives him credit or any type of accreditation for, and you're going to see it in this article. You're going to see it in this article where they still get it wrong about how many times Deontay Wilder knocked down Tyson Fury. They still get it wrong. Y'all going to see it in this article. They still get it wrong. Okay? So they still get how many times he knocked him down. They still never talk about him banging his head off the back, his banging the back of his head off the canvas in the first fight. And how, for some reason, the majority of people, it seems like, oh, Fury should have won the first fight. But anyway, without going down that road, which we've been down several times before, let's get into the present, right? Because we venture off into the past too much. We get stuck there. You feel me? We don't get stuck there. We want to move forward. Deontay Wilder himself is trying to move forward. So therefore, we will move forward with the Bronze Bomber and talk about some positivity but we are going to pinpoint some discrepancies in this fucking article that I came across. All right, so let's scroll down. Now, you see this pic. Now, I want you all to take a look at this picture. Take a look at this picture, right? So you see Deontay, October 2021. Obviously, that was right before the Fury third fight, where he was like 238 pounds, looking big, strong, muscular. And then in August, which is this month, right, he looks much slimmer, right? Big weight difference in comparison to October. At least 30, maybe even 40 pounds difference. Okay. And so when you see a picture like this, there's two ways that you can approach it. Okay. First way is the negativity that has come with this type of picture, which is, look at Deontay. He looks skinny. He looks unhealthy. They start making fun of his legs again. They're making fun of his arms. They're making fun of his physique. They start, posting pictures of him when he got knocked out. And they take it as just another way to just continue to try and dismantle this man's character, right? And we've already seen, you probably have already seen if you scrolled around Instagram and Twitter, where they've already started to make fun of his legs and he's looking thin and frail, right? So once again, you put the picture up and it's up to you. Just Do Boxing in the building. What's good? JD Walker, the boss talker. What's good? So there's two ways you can take it. Now, for me, if you're Divine, how do you take this picture? Well, for me, it's like I see a slimmer Deontay Wilder. Okay. And I want to remind people that I came on the mic post third fight of the Wilder Fury trilogy. And I said to everybody, one of the biggest Wilder fans on this shit. And I said, look, man, Wilder came in too big, too heavy in the third fight. Way too big, way too heavy for the third fight. He had power, but he's always had power. I mean, he didn't need to increase his power. I'm assuming that the objective was to be bigger, to have more mass, essentially, to deal with the size of Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is, 260, 270. That was the theory and the objective, I think. But he was clearly slower. He was clearly less explosive. He was clearly gassed out, by the third round. And if it wasn't for his God-given power that nearly won him the fight, then he would have just burned out. I mean, he would have been completely burned out. And so we have to remind ourselves, and I reminded everybody after the third fight, that Deontay Wilder was at his best at 220. But he's even been known to knock out guys at 213, 214, right? Because that is his natural frame. It's not like other heavyweights where they want to put on body mass because they want to try and to increase their power. But he's already got power. You've already got God-given power, right? Something you can't teach. You either have it or you don't. And so we remember him being at his best at essentially anywhere from 215 to 220, where you get that explosiveness, you get that speed. He closes down the distance very quickly. His lateral movement, even his defense is better because he's not as gassed. A lot of people, shined a light on Deontay's lack of defense in the third fight. Well, it wasn't necessarily lack of defense. He was completely gassed out. The dude could barely pick his hands up. And if people say, no, Divine, you're wrong, he just doesn't have defense, then you don't know shit about boxing. And I want you to come in here and prove me wrong. Rewind the tape. Didn't he outbox Bermane Sterveen in the first fight? Completely outboxed him. Bermane couldn't hit him with anything. Doesn't that take elusiveness and defensive ability? The answer is yes. In the first fight against Tyson Fury, go back and watch it. Fury's supposed to be the boxer in that fight. He's supposed to be. So he's going to box regardless. But Deontay Wilder's ability to have power, maintain his power into the 12th round that nearly, and in my opinion, should have knocked out Tyson Fury, is a clear tale that he was defensively responsible and had the energy and endurance to go into the 12th round and land that two-piece on Fury that dropped him on his back. So we are making light of this so people understand, okay? So now Deontay's back. So now the speculation is starting to swarm and people are wondering, okay, is he going to be is he going to be at heavyweight or is he going to go down to cruiserweight? And this article is going to talk about it. So let's address this article first before I go off on any other tangents. This article was posted August 8th. So for me, 3 days ago, for y'all, 2 days ago. Okay, we see a picture of him right here in August of 2022, which is this month. He obviously looks way slimmer. And if he stays at heavyweight, I mean, this is how he will look? This doesn't necessarily mean this is how he's going to look if he comes back and fights at heavyweight. He may just be losing weight right now, and then he'll put on a little bit more mass, you know, as he signs a fight and gets ready to actually fight, get in a real fight camp. He'll put on a little bit more mass. This picture, he's maybe like 200 pounds. I don't think he's going to be, if he stays at heavyweight, going to be that light. And he clearly says that putting on weight's not an issue for me. That's the remarkable thing about Deontay. He's got so many gifts naturally that he can lose or gain weight anytime he wants, even at 36 years old, which is quite fucking remarkable. How many 36-year-olds can drop weight like Deontay has here? See, people look at it in a negative way. Oh, he's sad. He's disappointed. He's depressed. So he's not eating. So he's losing weight. Usually heavyweights, when they're sad, when they're depressed, when they can't get over a loss, they gain weight, motherfuckers. They gain weight. Look at Mike Tyson. Look at Buster Douglas. Look at George Foreman. Look at all these guys making comebacks, get older in age. They gain weight. Deontay Wilder lost weight. Why? Because he has that ability. So y'all can miss me with that bullshit. So let's go down and look at the article. They got this in bold letters. Deontay Wilder is back in training, but no longer looks like the heavyweight force that dropped Tyson Fury twice in their trilogy battle. So once again, bold letters, no longer looks like the heavyweight force right here, right? So, you know, words mean a lot to me. It may not mean very much to people. People say, oh, it's an article that, you know, they all do it. But take it for what it is. Take it for what it's worth. I do pay attention, and words matter to me. The Bronze Bomber is far from the physique he displayed when weighing in at a career high 238 pounds. So he was at 238 when he fought Fury in the third fight. But once again, they highlight it like he was a force. He was big. He was strong. He was powerful. But now he's not. Now he's frail. Now he's weak. Now he's skinny. He's not the same force anymore. You see? Y'all got to pay attention to this shit, man. Because this is the article that is flowing through the internet right now. That's why I saw it. I didn't search for this. I'm attached to many different websites and shit. and shit just pops up on my phone. So this is circulating, right? It's a dismantlement. He's no longer the same force. But they don't tell you that he actually came in too heavy. And that plays a major role into why he lost. Now, see, Fury fans and Wilder haters will tell you, nah, weight has nothing to do with it. Fury's just better. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Anyways, moving on. Deontay Wilder lost weight. Images of Wilder beginning training alongside Badou Jack, Michael Hunter, and meeting Francis Ngannou showed the American hovering over the Bridger weight limit or below. And as Boxing News previously broke the news, reigning WBC champion Oscar Rivas is willing to give Wilder a shot at the title. Before Rivas saw his latest fight postponed for logistical reasons, let me just browse through this real quick. Michael said, "You're absolutely right. Oscar Rivas would never turn down any important challenges after the August 13th battle of Cali against Lucas Rozonsky." Wilder has spoken about campaigning at cruiserweight many times previously. However, he changed his stance once the Bridgerweight division got formed. Cruiserweight or Bridgerweight? In 2018, when on top of the world as WBC king, Wilder said, "What's up, boxing world? You know, I've just been sitting in my car thinking. I've been thinking about moving down to cruiserweight once I unify the heavyweight division. I am taking over that division. There's never been a heavyweight ever go down in weight. I mean, just for the fun of it. Take over the cruiserweight division while maintaining the heavyweight division." So this is a key quotation right here that's important that we can't miss. Okay, we can't miss this quotation. Just take over the cruiserweight division while maintaining the heavyweight division. So for me, he still wants to conquer the heavyweight division. He still wants to conquer the heavyweight division. Now, it doesn't mean that he may exercise the possibility of going to Bridger or Cruiser, right? But that's the beauty of Deontay Wilder, is that he can go up and down in weight like no other heavyweight, pretty much. The only person that's been able to do it is obviously Usyk, but he came up from cruiserweight. It's much easier going up than it is going down. After Usyk fights Joshua, if he wins and retains the titles, how long will he stay at heavyweight? We don't know, but probably more than likely for the rest of his career. I don't think he'll ever go back down in the cruiserweight. So we have to be careful of these articles and these channels taking quotations out of context, right? So here we go. And look at this picture again with him and Badou Jack, right? To me, that looks like maybe like 205 Deontay Wilder. It's like around 205. Fast forward to 2020 when the 224-pound 18th weight class became a reality. Wilder distanced himself from competing lower than the top division. "If it's specifically designed for me to be the face of it, I decline," Wilder told Brian Custer on his Last Stand podcast. "My career is to be at heavyweight. That's what I got it in. That's what I got in for, and that's what I'm going to end with." All right. So that's what he told Brian Custer, is that he's going to stay at heavyweight because he doesn't want a division to be formed just for him, essentially. Guys always outweigh me. In my last fight, I was 231. So putting on weight is not a difficult part for me. My power makes up for all of that. I have too much power for a weight class that low. I should be exempt from that division. Now, that's an interesting point. Imagine if he does go to cruiser. He does have God-given power. That's a fair point. If you're knocking out guys that are 270, what are you going to do with a guy that weighs 200? Let me say that again. If you've been knocking out guys at 270, what are you going to do against guys that are 200? So I just want to throw this out there for people to think about it, right? And, believe it or not, Wilder cares about what people think. Wilder cares about legacy. Wilder cares about where his name ends up. The fact that he has his own statue now, and the fact that, he was so confused about the way the second fight went with Fury shows, in my opinion, passion. That if I'm going to lose, I want to make sure that I lose fairly. And because he's such a passionate person and asked questions, he got chastised and destroyed in the media for it. And to this day, they continue to not let that go. They let the fact of Wilder asking questions overshadow his bravery, his dedication, the fact that he's never tested positive for any illegal substance. Let me say that again. Let me say that again for the people in the back. The fact that he's never tested positive for any illegal substance. They push that to the side. They push the fact that, unlike Fury, he's actually defended his heavyweight titles multiple times. They push that to the side. One of the best KO ratios of all time. They push that to the side. Coming from nothing. Very little boxing background. Becoming a world champion. They push that to the side. People go even as far as attacking his daughter, who has a life-disabling disease. Why? Because he asked questions. God forbid that you ask questions. God forbid. So, let's see what else this article has to say. Two-weight champion. Why the 36-year-old would rebuff an opportunity to fight for a title when the heavyweight title belts are currently tied up seems a mystery, though. Old rival Tyson Fury is yet to make up his mind when to do with the green and gold strap he took from Wilder. At the same time, Usyk and Joshua collide for the remaining titles on August 20th. Given that his last 13 bouts have all been championship fights, all last 13 bouts, y'all, all last 13 bouts has been championship fights, Wilder should consider any realistic offer from Rivas and his team. The WBC would have no problem sanctioning Wilder to challenge Rivas. The Alabama Slammer is still ranked number 1 at heavyweight. Looking at his shape now, Wilder could bridge her weight in a heartbeat for a 2-weight title opportunity. So, there you have it. There you have it. That's the article. But I did miss the part where it says, how did I miss that? Let me just browse through. There's something very important in this article that they got incorrect. Give me a moment, y'all. Pretty sure in this article, unless it's been removed. I think they removed it. Because I saw it on my phone and I gotta go on StreamYard, right? So I need the link because I saw the article on my phone. I don't go live on StreamYard on my phone. I go on my laptop. So I sent the link. I emailed myself the link. And from that point, it's been about 3 hours since I've seen this link. And so now that I've reopened the link to now share it with you guys, an entire paragraph has now been taken out. An entire paragraph has been taken out. Right under this paragraph, right here, under this very first paragraph where it says, the bronze bomber is far from the physique he displayed when weighing in a career, right there. Under this, there was another sentence that said something like, Deontay Wilder doesn't look like the same power puncher that he was when he knocked down Tyson Fury 2 times in their trilogy. Right? 2 times. We all know that's not true. And they must have caught it. They must have caught it because they took it out. They took it out. So they must have realized their mistake. It wasn't 2 times. We know that Wilder knocked down Fury 4 times. Knocked him down 4 times in 3 fights. So I'm just now seeing that now. They were very, very quick to remove that. But yeah, you're right, Jeremy. I should have screenshotted it. But obviously I didn't think that they would fucking remove it from the article. All right. So Champ Live Boxing in the building was good. All right. So let's get to it. Next thing, now I've been over the article. If y'all just came in, I've already went over this article that I found where they talked about Wilder possibly going down to a bridger weight or cruiserweight. If y'all curious to have the link, I'll probably put it in the description once this video is uploaded. So what I'm gonna do now is Blockwell Man, what's good? Air Softer and Chef, what's good? What I'm gonna do now for y'all is we're gonna put. It's that time. It's that time to get to it, to get to the nitty gritty here, and get a poll up into the chat, and give me your opinion on what Wilder should do next. All right. So get ready for that poll to be dropped in. And I know that. Give me a second. And I know that 78 went live about this earlier this morning. He dropped some hints that he could possibly fight Helenius. So he'll be in the poll. I'm also going to add, obviously, the winner of Usyk and Joshua. Now, if you vote for that one, you're basically saying that you don't take a tune-up and you just jump right in and go for the title and fight the winner of Usyk and Joshua. If you fight Helenius, I'll add that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Then title. Okay, I'll make it more specific. Fourth option. I'll put in Andy Ruiz. Obviously, if he beats Ortiz. All right. So There's the poll. Drop it. Let me know in the chat what you think Wilder should do, and then we're going to cook on it. Anthony Jones in the building. What's good? I am True Will in the building. Good to see you, bro. Thanks for dropping by. And this is a good time to allow anybody from the family that wants to come in and leave their thoughts about who they would like to see Wilder fight next. There is the link in the chat. We're going to keep it open for, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes, hopefully, because I do got to go to the gym. And later on today, I've got a couple other appointments, if you know what I'm saying. Don Shada in the building. What's good? So there's the link. Feel free to click in and let's cook on it. Let's see what people think and feel about Wilder coming back and, fighting. I saw, was it super chat? Oh, Don with that super sticker, man. I appreciate you, Don, man. Appreciate that super sticker, man. I see you. All right. I'll wait for people to jump in if they do want to jump in. And I'll start to give my thoughts as we cruise along here. Let me close this. All right. All right, guys. So make sure y'all vote in the poll. If you haven't hit that like button, I don't know why you haven't hit it. We've got 40 people in here and only 28 likes. So I don't understand that discrepancy at all. And that's how people do me. People come in here, they go and buck wild on the poll. They're going crazy in the poll, voting the poll, but you can't click the like button. How does that make any sense? Makes zero sense. Demon in the building. What's good, bro?
What's going on with it, Divine? I think he should fight the winner of Usyk and Joshua. If that man go down to any other weight class, he's gonna kill them boys, man. He's gonna put somebody, in the ICU. That man hits somebody. That's his normal weight. If he hits somebody down in lower weight class, he's gonna put somebody in ICU. I think he should fight the winner of Usyk Joshua or the boy Haney next.
Yeah. For me, as much as I would love to see him fight for a title ASAP, I think it makes the most sense to fight somebody like Helenius, who is on the up and up. Helenius is on the up and up. He's a solid fighter. He's a big dude, just like Tyson Fury is. Maybe doesn't have the exact dimensions, but he's a challenge. He's a real challenge. He's a credible opponent. Obviously, Wilder knows him. They've sparred each other. So it's a fight that you can easily make. And if you end up knocking out Helenius, you obviously help promote yourself to get that big fight between the winner of Joshua and Usyk, right? You kind of need that. Now, if you were to come back and because basically Usyk and Joshua is a week away, right? It's like whatever it is, 10 days away. So he could just be waiting to see what happens and just call out the winner right away. Now, could it still happen? Yeah, because technically speaking, Wilder's still ranked number 1 or 2 for most sanctioning bodies. So, and you can always sell Deontay Wilder no matter what. But it doesn't have the same crispness, in my opinion, the same confidence, because a lot of people aren't confident. Now, obviously, Deontay Wilder shouldn't care about that because he should be used to proving the doubters wrong, and that should give him motivation. But, you would probably prefer to have a little bit more confidence in the fight build-up and whatnot by beating somebody like Helenius, where people will be like, oh, okay, Deontay's really back. You know what I'm saying? He's back. And so that's going to put added pressure and more competitive juices into fighting for the title again. So that's kind of my opinion, essentially. And as far as bridgerweight / cruiserweight, I wouldn't be upset about it. I wouldn't feel like it's a bad decision. It's not a bad decision because he can actually do it. Like, physically, he could do it if he wanted to. And that's what people have to understand. Like, I would dislike it if he was a naturally big heavyweight, and he's like trying to, I'm going to try to do something for history and go down the bridge or a cruiser and lose a bunch of fucking weight and then get destroyed by a smaller technical cruiserweight boxer who just embarrasses you. That's not going to happen. He could literally drop down to 205 and go and collect a belt in another division. He could do it if he really wanted to. Physically, he could do it. But I do agree with Demon and a lot of people in the chat saying, I think he seriously hurt somebody. I think he does seriously hurt somebody. The only person that would stand a chance against Deontay at that weight would be somebody like Usyk. At that weight, not at heavyweight, but at that weight. Because Usyk can be elusive, he can box, he can make it difficult for Wilder to land that right hand. So you need a guy like that. If you just get like, I want to say an average, but if you get like just a cruiserweight who is a champion but doesn't have that same skill set of a Usyk, he's getting knocked out. Like it's not going to be pretty, in my opinion. It's not going to be pretty. We got Tap in the building, the accountability partner. I feel you, bro. That's AKA Stacy Rubin in the building. What's good? Chavo TV, what's good? So as you guys come in, man, vote in the poll. Let me know what you think on what is next for Wilder. So far in the poll, we got 10% people saying go to bridge or a cruiserweight. We got 33% says fight Haney first, then title. Then 40% says, nah, fuck it. Just go for Usyk and Joshua right away. Go get a title right away. And then 17% says fight Andy Ruiz if he gets past Ortiz. We got Dwayne Freeman in the building. What's good? Yeah, Chavo, there is talks. I put an article up here earlier before you came in. There's an article and several other articles that have been popping up talking about Wilder. Obviously, I'll go ahead and put it up one more time for y'all, the people that just came in. Wilder looking like he lost a lot of weight. And so there are assumptions, essentially. That's exactly what it is. There's no confirmed reports, but assumptions because he looks so much thinner and slimmer that he could possibly be campaigning at cruiserweight and or bridgerweight. So there's the picture of him in October 2021, and then of course of this month of 2022. You can see clearly that he's lost a lot of weight. The 2021 picture, he was 238 pounds, and the one in August, to me, he looks probably about 205. So, you know, that's that. So yes, there are talks of him dropping down. Now, for me, I don't think there's any wrong choice on whatever he chooses to do. As Deontay Wilder fans, I'm going to support him nonetheless, right? Whatever he decides to do. But is there a better choice? I think there is. Or is there a choice that I would prefer? Yes, there is. I would like to see him stay at heavyweight personally. I think that's what cements his legacy. Going down to cruiser and knocking somebody out and taking a belt there, does it help his legacy? I mean, on paper, it says, yeah, he did something that no heavyweight has really done. But they're going to say he shouldn't have done it. They're going to find a way to criticize him. They're going to find a way to criticize him. Because they're going to say, oh, well, he was way too strong and too big, too powerful to drop down in that weight. He should have never done that. It's not fair to the smaller weight classes. And they're going to criticize him. So for that, I think he should just stay at heavyweight. And at the end of the day, the heavyweight division is really going to cement his legacy as far as, you know, his ability to win a title again or not. Now, he's already going to go down in history as one of the best, in my opinion, just based on what he's already accomplished. But I guess to solidify his positioning above a Joshua or even above Fury, even though Fury beat him in the trilogy, it doesn't mean that he can be better on the all-time great heavyweight list. Y'all understand what I'm saying to you? Just because you have a trilogy and you come up short in that trilogy doesn't guarantee your positioning over that person on an all-time great list, because what you do outside that trilogy matters. Hit the fire emoji in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. To reiterate that point is that if Wilder comes back, let's role play it. Let's quarterback this thing. If he comes back and beats Helenius, boom, another credible opponent on his resume. Then he fights for the title, winner of Joshua Usyk, takes those titles. He's now unified. He is now unified, something that Fury hasn't done. Then, after unifying, he fights Andy Ruiz and defends those unified titles. He can do all of that before 38 years old. Before 38, he can do all of that. So if you have Joshua Usyk on his resume, if he has Andy Ruiz on his resume, if he has Helenius on his resume, Ortiz on his resume, he has Tyson Fury on his resume too, even though he lost 2 out of 3. He still fought him, not once but 3 times, and also is a part of history of one of the greatest trilogies that we've ever seen. If Tyson Fury retires for real, and never comes back and vacates his titles, and he thinks he can hang his hat on the fact that he beat the Bronze Bomber, you can have that one hat hanger, that one coat hanger that you can put your hat on, but you're not going to put it at the pinnacle, because Wilder stays active, comes back, wins a title again, becomes unified, and defends those titles. He damn near will have more title defenses than Tyson Fury has fights. Hit the fire emoji in the chat. We got Tap in the building, a.k.a. Stacy Rubin in that super chat. He says, you have been on this thing quite a bit lately. Loving the content. Also, at heavy, Deontay Wilder knocks out pretty much everyone. I agree. We're going to talk about that in a second, Stacy, in regards to how I see each and every fight playing out. And, if he fights this person, how would it end up? We're gonna role play it here in a second. I just want to get people's opinions first on what he should do next. Hoplo type, what's good? Of course, there are always what ifs in boxing, bro. There are always what ifs. Okay, but the point that I'm trying to make is, who really cares about legacy, Wilder or Fury? Wilder. I don't think Fury gives a fuck about legacy. I really don't. He's even said it himself. I don't care about the belts. I don't care about legacy. I'm doing it because I love boxing, mate. I fucking love boxing so much, mate. Yeah, I do it for the love of the sport. So he's already said that he doesn't give a fuck about legacy. He's retired, what, like 2-3 times already in his career? It's like, so automatically there is a what if hoplotype. What if Tyson Fury retires and never comes back? Wilder comes back, beats Helenius, a guy who Fury will never fight. Let's say Joshua beats Usyk. Let's say Joshua beats Usyk. Wilder knocks out Joshua. Now Wilder has fought 2 guys that Fury never fought. Never fought Helenius, never fought Joshua, which is a shame, because Joshua and Fury are from the same fucking country. Knocks out Joshua, defends those titles against someone like Andy Ruiz, another guy that Fury never fought. So how good is Fury really? Like, how good is he really, though? Seriously. He may be just a bad style matchup for Wilder. That may be true. But we will never know if he can beat Joshua or Andy Ruiz or Helenius or any of these other heavyweights. But yes, if Wilder, because there's always ifs in boxing, does fight those men, to me, he is above Tyson Fury on the all-time great heavyweight list. It's not even debatable. It's not even debatable. Muhammad Ali is above Foreman and Joe Frazier on the all-time heavyweight great list. For most boxing historians, analysis, most all-time great list, Ali is above them. Yes, Ali beat Foreman, but Foreman did something that Ali didn't do. He came back and became a champion. Joe Frazier beat Ali once in their trilogy. Joe Frazier was a multiple-time champion, but yet Ali is ranked above him. So the fact that Wilder came up short in the trilogy doesn't mean nothing if Fury doesn't continue to solidify himself in the division.
Hey, my bad. Let me say this real quick, real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chuck E. Cheese. Before I walk into Chuck E. Cheese real fast. Devon, this is your kingdom, and I'm the demon that run through it. Now, this is the thing. Don't be disrespectful towards Wilder on a comment, then try to come back and clean it up. You will be immediately checked about the champ. We do not tolerate that shit on this motherfucking channel. Now, don't be, still Devon, this and that. Don't be with the bullshit, and your ass won't get timed out. That's all I got to walk into Chuck E. Cheese. Devon, I'm still listening, though.
All right, feel you. Appreciate you. So I want to let on that note, and since I'm kind of getting into my little monologue / debate kind of flow here, I will be on Knockout Boxing 86 debating here very, very soon. It is under construction. I am talking to Knockout Boxing behind the scenes. And everybody knows that I never shy away from a debate. And I would love to debate anybody on the legacy of Tyson Fury and Wilder. Now, right now, if both men were to retire and never fight again, who would be above one another, Fury or Wilder? That is literally a debate. Well, that's something that you have to debate. But if Fury sails off into the sunset and Wilder keeps going, to me, it's not a debate. It's not a debate. And Fury chose that route himself. It's not like it's not like he's getting old. He's younger than Wilder. It's not like he can't get any more big fights. He has the opportunity to fight the winner of Usyk and Joshua, just like Wilder does. So if he decides not to come back, that's on him. Now, it may be the simple fact that he got his skull bashed in against Wilder, and he doesn't want to be in these fights anymore. But actually, I saw another article today that he's talking about coming back and fighting Chisora. So you're willing to fight Chisora or Dillian White, but you don't want to fight Usyk or Joshua or Helenius or Andy Ruiz, but you'll continue to fight either Dillian White or go fight Chisora. Like, none of it makes sense at all, in my opinion. In my opinion, it doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm saying I don't think Fury cares about legacy at all. Don Shota 24 in that super chat, he says, I still think a fourth fight imminent. Fury or F Fury forever. Hey, you never know. Like Hoplo Type says, there's a lot of ifs in boxing, but you never know in boxing. That's the thing. It's and hey, in the modern era, we haven't seen 4 fights. 3 fights are already very rare. I think the last 4 fight was Pacquiao and Marquez, right? I think that's the last time we saw a 4th fight. But it doesn't happen very often. It doesn't happen very often. But it has happened before. It's not like it's never happened. We saw, like I said, Pacquiao Marquez, LaMotta, and Sugar Ray Robinson fought 4, I think even 5 times. So it's not that it's impossible. It's improbable, but impossible. But you know, Tyson Fury is that type of dude, though. Like, let's keep it real. He is that type of dude where, you know, he's chilling. Wilder comes back and he beats Joshua. Fury's the type of guy that's something that will entice him to come back. And we don't know, how Wilder, if Wilder has finally let go of the Tyson Fury trilogy and he's moving on to bigger and better things and not worried about what Fury's doing anymore. That's very possible. But what is also possible is that he's kept it in the back of his mind that he's got to reposition himself to try and entice Fury to come back out one more time to do a fourth fight. And the ironic thing is that in fight number 2 and fight number 3, he came in way too heavy. He came in too heavy, and I think he realizes that now. I think that he understands that the weight was too much for me. I gassed out. I got tired too quickly. So that was my mistake. If he comes back in the heavyweight division at 215 and he starts knocking dudes out again, he's going to promote that idea that I lost to Fury because I was too big, too heavy. I wasn't explosive, quick. And you guys have now seen, based off of my last fights, of me knocking dudes out at 215, 220. So I'm proving my point that I'm a better fighter at this weight. So I want Fury to fight me at 215, 220 in a fourth fight. I'm back. I'm knocking dudes out again. I got belts. And so for Fury, it actually might be the most brilliant strategy by Wilder ever. Because Tyson Fury fighting Joshua or Usyk or Andy Ruiz or Helenius is an unknown, right? Like, you may be confident to beat those guys, but it's an unknown. Do you still have the will, the determination to train and fight these guys? But with Wilder, you in your head, you're like, I've beat him twice. I can beat him again. And if Wilder takes the belts off of either Usyk or Joshua, he might think that's an easy route. That's an easy way to get those belts. Is I'll just go through Wilder again, a guy who I've already beaten twice. Why risk it against Joshua or Usyk, which is an unknown, when I can go after a guy who I already know I can beat? So it could actually be the most brilliant strategy by Wilder, if that is in fact Wilder's goal. We don't know. But if Wilder comes back and campaigns again at heavyweight and fights at 215, 220, knocks out Helenius, knocks out Joshua or Usyk, it's very possible that he comes back on the scene and campaigns the idea that, look, guys, when I fought Fury in the second and third fight, I was too heavy. If I was Wilder, I wouldn't even talk about the second fight, because you open up too many floodgates. It's going to reopen the trolls, the racists, the people that hate you. So you can just simply talk about the third fight. You can say, the third fight, I came in too big, too heavy. And I proved that I was in these previous fights where I've now knocked out Helenius, Usyk or Joshua, whatever it may be. And then you can put the pressure on Fury to come back. And why wouldn't Fury, right? Like I said, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? So this might be one of the most brilliant strategies by Wilder, if that is in fact what he's trying to do. Maybe Wilder's listening to me right now. He's like, man, Divine Sense, man, shit, that's a good idea, bro. Maybe I should do that. Maybe Wilder is listening on the background. Wilder, if you're listening, bro, salute, man. This is the Bronze Bomber over here. That's right. That's right. He can pull off one of the most crazy, like, campaigns ever. Because the craziness of it is is you come back, you win these titles, and then somehow if you manage to get Fury in the ring for a fourth time and you knock out Tyson Fury. Yeah, essentially it's a even, it's 2-2, right? On the in the trilogy. Well, 2-1 and 1. But to get that last fight, right? It's like Marquez knocking out Pacquiao. It's done. It's done. If you put Tyson Fury to sleep laying face down, it's done. And if you do it at 215, you kind of prove the point that, you know, it was a learning curve. I came in too heavy, and I'm going to prove the point that I'm effective at this weight, and I'm going to knock out Tyson Fury. And you do it, then you sail off as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Of all time. Shout out to the Demon in there in that super chat, showing love and appreciation, bro. You know you're always appreciated, bro, and thank you. Nitty G in the building. Donald in the building. What's good? D-O-double-G in the building. Everyone's filtering in. I appreciate you. If y'all haven't hit that like button, make sure you do that. I don't know how you haven't yet, but you should have already double jabbed and uppercutted that like button. Jay Gibson in the building. I appreciate you, bro, dropping in those bombs. That's right. Yeah. So we got Tap back in that super chat. Says, keep cooking. Oh, we cooking, bro. You guys know how I do it, man. I like to paint pictures. I'm an abstract mind. You can call me Picasso on this bitch. I paint pictures for you guys, right? I want you guys to use your critical thinking skills and think outside the box, because life is much bigger than what you see in black and white, right? It's full of abstract colors and possibilities. Everything that I've just laid out for you guys on what Wilder can do to cement his legacy as one of the best heavyweights to ever do it is totally possible. 100% possible. 100% possible. Let me go back into this live poll to see where it's sitting at. We got 44 votes in the poll, and we got 11% saying Wilder should go to Bridger or Cruiserweight. 38% says fight Helenius first, then fight for a title. Fight winner of Usyk and Joshua right away, so no tune-up, just go straight for the title, is also at 38%. So we have a deadlock at 38% on that one. And then 13% says go ahead and fight Andy Ruiz if Ruiz beats Ortiz. But if he chooses that route, he's got to wait a little bit longer, right? He's got to wait a little bit longer. But he can come back and fight Helenius as early as October. No problem. No problem. No problem. We got Black VYBZ in the building. What's good, man? Any and all at this point in time, since we've been cooking now for about an hour, any and all of my official members of the channel, go ahead and drop your custom Wilder emojis. Let's go ahead and plaster the image in the chat, so when people come in, they know what time it is over here. When people come over here and they get into the chat and they see Wilder's emojis being plastered all over the fucking chat, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, well, I know what this channel's about. You goddamn right, that's what it's about. You right, that's what it's about. And so if you guys are just tuning in, the picture on the left is Wilder in October 2021. Obviously, that's before the Wilder Fury third fight. He was 238 pounds. The one to the right is him this month in August 2022, where he looks like he's weighing in about, I don't know, he looks about 205 in this picture, right? So significant weight drop. There are articles out there. I browsed over one already earlier in the live where they're trying to basically paint the picture that he's not the same force anymore. He's lost weight. He might fight at cruiserweight, whatever. We don't know if it's true. Only Deontay Wilder knows himself. I don't even think at this point, somebody like 78 knows. The 78 we know is close to Deontay. But from the live that I heard that 78 dropped earlier this morning, was all indications point that he's going to stay at heavyweight. This might just be him. He's just losing weight to get a bit more comfortable, to get more explosive back into training, and then line up a heavyweight fight, and then put on another quick, 10 pounds, go back up to 215, and you're back at fighting shape at heavyweight. That's all it could be. That's all it could be. My man Nitty G, that's what's up, man. Plastering the custom emojis, bro. That's what's up. I appreciate you. I think it's a quick negative outlook of trying to look like, oh, he's looking thin, he's looking frail. I see a smile on his face. I see him losing weight and still looking healthy, still looking good shape. But look, man, like, we don't know, man. We just don't know, like, the way Wilder's mind works on what he's orchestrating behind the scenes and what his plans are. But that shit would be crazy. That shit would be crazy if he does exactly what I said he could do. And the chain of events could literally be, boom, fight Helenius. That's an easy fight to make, ladies and gentlemen. That's an easy fight to make because they know each other. Easy to promote. It's a great fight for Wilder to come back, to prove that he still got it. Helenius is a credible opponent. Tough, big, strong guy who is in the rankings of the heavyweights. You beat him. Step 2. By that time, we'll already know who won between Joshua and Usyk. And you pressure to get that title shot. And for promoters, that's easy. It's an easy fight to make because Wilder is back. He's coming off a victory. He's still ranked number 1 or number 2 for most sanctioning bodies. You can always promote Wilder in any fucking fight. Doesn't matter who he's fighting. The only problem would be is that if Joshua wins, will he actually fight him? And I have always said that Joshua doesn't or didn't want to fight Wilder. And I still hold my stance on that. Usyk, I think Usyk, if he beats Joshua in the rematch, I think he'll fight Wilder. I think he will. I don't think Usyk is scared of anybody, in my opinion. I think he'll fight anybody. But Joshua's a whole nother story. So let's do that in the next topic of the conversation. I'll drop the link one more time into the chat. We're going to end the stream with each and every fighter that he could potentially fight and how I think the outcome will be. It'll be a quick little brush over, and anybody that wants to jump in and leave their thoughts, you're more than welcome to. The link is right there. What we got over here? Did I miss something? Donald Balboa. Well, actually, to be honest with you, let me go ahead and highlight this. You're first off, I don't know if you're subscribed to the channel. You might be, and so I'll give you that benefit of the doubt. But I must say, your avatar here just automatically like makes you look a little bit suspect. But I'm not gonna get political about it. And before you get back in the chat and say, well, it's not my fault that you're a liberal. I ain't a fucking liberal either. So you can miss me with that shit. But putting a Trump head on a fucking Balboa body, you're basically building up Donald Trump to be some type of like fucking figurehead, some immortal person. I don't know what your objective is there. But like I said, we're not gonna get political. Let me address your comment. Don't forget Wilder got his brains bashed out in that third fight. Still probably the second best heavyweight, but takes a major toll. Well, let me say this. Fury's actually the one who came out in public and said that he thought that he took brain damage. against Wilder. It's publicly known. You can go on YouTube. He said, I feared that I had possible brain damage. That's why I talked about retirement right after the third fight against Wilder. Fury himself has openly expressed the fact that he took a lot of damage against Wilder, which is why he has retired multiple times. And the only reason why he fought Dillian Whyte was because it was basically forced on him to do it. Okay? So let's not do this like dick measuring contest on who's tougher, Wilder or Fury, and whose brains got bashed in more. It was a hell of a trilogy. They both took a lot of damage. But right now, Tyson Fury's retired. And right now, Wilder is making a comeback. So what the fuck does that tell you? So I'm just going to leave it at that. You guys just, you can't come at me with that type of shit, man. It just doesn't work over here. It just doesn't work. King of the Dead, facts. AJ been avoiding, facts. Right. So now that I've addressed that, I'm trying to avoid going the political route. Let's get into who do I think will win. It's the fun part of the live stream now. We get into the fun part now. And before I do that, one more quick glance at the poll. Fight the winner of Usyk versus Joshua winner is slightly ahead. It took the lead in the poll now at 40%, with fight Helenius first is right behind it at 38%. If y'all haven't hit that like button, how do we not have 50 likes? How do we not have 50 fucking likes, man? I've been sitting up here for an hour and I've been cooking the hell out of this live stream and we ain't got 50 likes. Anyway, let me get into the first one. Wilder versus Helenius. Look, I think that's a hell of a fight, man. And I think a lot of people sleep on Helenius. I think that a lot of people, the casual viewer, is going to look at Helenius as a guy, oh, that's a tune-up. Helenius ain't no fucking tune-up, man. Helenius is no tune-up. That's a credible opponent. He's ranked guaranteed at least top 10, if not top 5 on a lot of sanctioning bodies. He's big, he's strong, and the fact that Wilder and Helenius have sparred each other, they both might think they know something. You know what I'm saying? Wilder may think he has his number, and Helenius might think he's got something on Wilder too. Shit. So it's a great fight. I think if they do fight, it will be entertaining for however long it lasts. But I feel like if Wilder comes in good shape, comes in the right weight that he needs to come in at, I think he stops Helenius probably around 6 or 7. I think it takes some time to get a big, strong guy like him out of there. But Wilder's coming into a fight against Helenius knowing that he needs to make a real bold statement, and he needs to get Helenius out of there. So that's how I see it. But I see it pretty exciting. And you know, the thing that people have to understand too, which I'll reiterate this point when I get into the conversation of Wilder versus Joshua, but Wilder's chin is highly underrated because they look at the knockouts against Fury, right? But bro, how many flush punches did this man take? It's almost ridiculous that he took these punches from a 270-pound man and lasted as long as he did. And it's not just chin, it's heart. Like, you basically got to kill Wilder. Basically. And he's willing to die. And I don't know if Helenius is built that way. I think he's a tough, strong dude. But if he catches Wilder flush, he might be able to drop him. We know that Wilder can be hurt now. We know that he can touch the canvas. But can he finish him like Fury? Like, It's like what 78 says. Fury's fucking crazy. Like, he goes into a dark place and somehow like gets up out off the canvas, even though his equilibrium's all fucked up, and he's like, you know, his whole body it shook from head to toe, and he's just crazy like that. Something about him getting knocked down or hurt, like, I don't know, I think it like turns him on or some shit. Like, he's like, yeah, that felt good, and he like gets up and he keeps fighting, right? But most dudes are not built that way. You know what I mean? So in that regard, Fury is like an anomaly. Like, he's just fucking weird like that, to be able to take that type of punishment and continue to get up. And I just don't see Helenius being able to take that. The underrated one in the building. What's up, brother?
What's good with you, man? What's good with you? Glad to be here, man.
It's all good, man. Hey, look, I just want to let you know that I get your links all the time, man, but unfortunately you be popping those links in when it's like 3 a.m. my time, and I'm in a deep slumber. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I get it. Yeah, right. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. It's all good though. But hey, look, we're gonna make it happen one way or another. But you're here now, so that's one way that we can collaborate. So we're just talking about, now we talked about a lot of different things. I'm going about an hour and a half in the live stream, so you might be doing a little bit of catching up. But the first thing that I talked about was there are some rumors and articles out there saying that Deontay's lost a lot of weight. He may campaign at cruiserweight and or bridgerweight. And so there's some speculation on which direction he's going to go. But what we do know, Eddie is coming back, and who he's going to fight and what weight division is yet to be seen. I have my opinion that he's going to stay at heavyweight. I think he's just losing the weight now to get a bit more comfortable, because I think he realized that 238 was too much for him. If he's going to be boxing, like if he retires, he can fucking be whatever weight he wants, right? Live like a king, right? But if you're going to be back in the ring, I think he knows that I got to get back to that, 215, 220 mark. Now, he may be below that now, but that's not a big deal. He signs a fight, he gets into a fight camp, he can put on 10 pounds and be at the exact weight that he needs to be. But, I mean, Wilder has knocked out men that are 270 when he was 213.
Right.
So it's not the end of the world if right now he weighs 205. It's not the end of the world. He can put on a quick 10 pounds. So now, after discussing all that, we are now talking about the fights and the matchups and who would win and why and what have you. So I just talked about Helenius. My prediction for that is probably a stoppage around 6 or 7. And what's your thoughts on that real quick, since you're here? A fight between Helenius and Wilder, how do you see that going?
I think that if we look at Helenius, he's a tough guy, but he has not been tested. We are looking at Wilder. He's a former WBC champion. He hold the title. He defended 10 times. He had been in the wars. And I think that for me, for Helenius, are you willing to go in that dark time with Wilder? Because Wilder he haven't. You could be a strong boxer you want to, as you know, you fought boxing for a long time. If you're not willing to go to that dark place and do whatever you can to win, what's the use? And so that my thing is that, are you willing to go through that dark place with Wilder? Are you willing to? Because Wilder has been tested, and he went through those wars. And like you said, he had knocked out people that weighed 75 and 80 pounds more than he did. Stretched them out.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thing, Helene, is that I said that Helenius have to, wherever he fight before, I think he had to switch it up a little bit, because we have to understand, dude, too, Wilder is a veteran. He is a veteran, so he's going to figure you out. So Helenius got to do things differently to do Wilder out. He got to do something different.
And they've sparred each other multiple times, and I was saying that earlier, where they both may think that they have the upper hand one way or the other. You learn stuff about each other when you spar.
Yeah.
And it just, I think it's going to be a very interesting fight, but it's a great fight for Wilder if he's able to perform well and get Helenius out of there. It's exactly what he needs to get back into title contention, in my opinion. But it's not necessarily a necessity, because he could, because he's Deontay Wilder, just wait until next weekend to see who wins between Usyk and Joshua and just throw his hat in there and say, I want the winner. And he can campaign for it. And it's hard to turn Wilder away because just who he is. It doesn't matter, right? I mean, but I think the smartest route for your career, for your confidence, for promotional side of things, to also get the confidence, not for yourself, but for the fans, because a lot of us love Wilder, but not all of us are confident right now. Like, let's be real. We're going to love Wilder regardless, but not all of us have confidence. There are a lot of Wilder fans right now that are like, I don't know where he's at. Like, I don't know after the Fury shit, like what he's going to do or how he's going to look. So fighting a guy like Helenius and knocking a guy out like Helenius boosts the confidence of yourself, your fans, and also puts pressure on your haters. So he starts knocking at the door of winning those titles while your boy Tyson Fury's still retired, drinking Guinness and blowing back up to 300 pounds. Right. So, it is what it is. And I think that's the best way. I think that's the best way to go. Now, the next fight that I want to talk about, I see Stacy says they don't go past 4. Some people said 6, some people said 7. Interesting. Yeah, I say 6 or 7 for the Helenius fight. Now, we got a fight coming up this weekend. Next weekend with Joshua and Usyk, right? Rematch. We all know this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be commentating on the fight live. I'm expecting it to be a great fight party. Probably the Friday before, maybe Thursday. I'm going to put a panel together. You'll be invited yourself. I'll try to get Drew on here, Tay, I am Trill Will, whoever else wants to jump in, Dwayne Freeman, D Free, aka D Free, and we'll get them all in here, and we'll leave our final predictions for the Joshua Usyk fight. But let's talk about Wilder against either one of these two men, because we don't know who's going to win this fight. Now, I've already predicted Usyk to win the rematch, but like I said, let's just play devil's advocate and throw both names out there. How does Wilder match up against Usyk and Joshua? Let's start with Joshua. I've been very vocal over the past year or so since I've created this channel that I feel like Joshua has been avoiding Wilder. I think he doesn't want any part of Wilder. I think there's many indications of that. I've had Joshua fans come into my live stream talking all this craziness, talking about, oh, no, it's promoters, this, and that. Get the fuck out of my face out of that with all that shit. One thing I can tell you is this. One thing that you can't dispute is this. Wilder, when he beat Ortiz in the rematch, he grabbed the microphone post-fight and said, yo, Joshua, where are you at? I'm coming for you. I want you. You know what I'm saying? So to me, he called his ass out, and Joshua's out there doing his little skip to my Lou and doing his little fucking sidestep and bullshit and try to organize a fight with, I believe at the time, I can't remember who it was, but he ended up fighting Andy Ruiz down the line. And it wasn't Wilder, and Wilder was available. Wilder didn't have to fight Tyson Fury.
No, he didn't.
He didn't have to fight him. He could have fought Joshua. If Joshua had said, oh, okay, yeah, we can get it on. Obviously, you got Joshua, Fury. Which one are you going to fight? You're going to fight Joshua because at that time, he had the belts. He was a champ. He had the other belts. Wilder had, I think, the WBC, right? So Joshua had the other one. So I obviously you ain't worried about Tyson Fury picking himself out of the fucking ditch, trying to get over a layoff and trying to lose weight. You ain't worried about that, man. But because Joshua, like I said, was doing the sidestepping, then he was like, well, I got to find somebody else who I can fight and have a credible opponent. So it was Tyson Fury, which, by the way, he pulled Tyson Fury out of the gutter. But he never gets any fucking accreditation or appreciation for that.
No.
But, that's neither here or there. We got Chavo TV in the building. Good to see you, man. It's been a while since you came onto the panel. But let me go ahead and drop my prediction about Wilder and Joshua. But I had to say that little sidebar about Joshua ducking Wilder because I think it's fact. And I continue to hold that stance. And I have had nobody prove me otherwise other than, you got to look at the promotion. Yeah, the money wasn't right. Man, I'm sick of hearing that shit, man. I've been hearing that shit about Spence and Bud for the past fucking year. I'm sick of that. They're two champions and it's about the money, man. Fuck out of here. Somebody's scared. Fuck that. And to me, it's Joshua, and that's just the bottom line. So let's say if Joshua beats Usyk, let's say Joshua is no longer afraid of Wilder. Maybe he thinks Wilder's vulnerable now. Maybe he thinks Wilder's vulnerable now, and now's the time to fight him, right? So I'm going to go ahead and fight him now because I'm feeling confident. I just beat Usyk. I'm the champion again. I'll go ahead and fight Wilder. So let's say they fight. Who wins the fight? So I'm going to give you guys my assessment, and then I'll throw it around the panel. Look, man. I to be honest with you, I can keep it short and sweet. Joshua, I think Joshua gets stopped in 3. And with that being said, I think that he might have a moment or two within those 3 rounds where he could possibly catch Wilder with something or put Wilder on the back foot. But ultimately, that'll be it. It'll be short-lived. And I just don't think that he can take I don't think he can take Wilder's power. I mean, it's just simple as that. So there's a few things that I want people to look at before I swing it around the panel. A lot of people that choose Joshua over Wilder will say, oh, well, Joshua's got power. Joshua is a big, strong fighter. He's got power. And, he can hurt Wilder. We've seen Wilder hurt now against a lesser puncher in Tyson Fury. Let me debunk that real quickly. First off, this notion that Fury doesn't have power, I'm going to debunk that right now. He doesn't have explosive knockout punching power like Deontay Wilder. But the man is 270. If Fury would have fought Klitschko like he fought Wilder in the second fight, he could have hurt Klitschko too. He's a big ass dude. And he leans on you. He puts his weight on you. He pulls your head down. He drains you. Right? He's perfected that. Especially here recently, fighting Wilder. He's like, oh, well, this is actually a pretty good fucking strategy against a strong puncher. At the end of the day, he's 270 pounds. If he catches you flush, he can fucking hurt you, period. So I want to put that to rest. Now, with saying that, what does that prove about Wilder? It proves that Wilder's got a chin. So Joshua, who couldn't get Andy Ruiz out of there. He dropped Andy, but couldn't finish him. He couldn't drop Usyk, who's a fucking cruiserweight. But somehow he's got the power to stop Wilder. Well, to that I say the only reason why you're saying that is because you think Wilder's vulnerable because he got stopped by Fury. Well, you're not taking into consideration the amount of punishment and the amount of flush punches that he took from a 270-pound man. And in the second fight, he couldn't finish Wilder. It was stopped. And the third fight, it took him what? What was it? 11 rounds? 10, 11 rounds? And got dropped twice himself. Now, I'm going to piggyback off of what 78 said earlier this morning. Joshua doesn't have the ability to go into a dark place like Fury does. Like I was saying earlier, Fury gets dropped and it's like something happens to his brain when he gets his skull bashed in, where some strange fucking like gypsy voodoo shit happens and he gets into a dark place and he loves it. It like fucking turns him on or some weird shit. And he's like, yeah, like,
gypsy voodoo.
I'm ready to fight now, you know? And he just, something like, some type of like fucking energy goes down his legs and he like continues to fight. It's fucking weird. It's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. But Joshua's not built like that. If Joshua gets touched how Fury got touched in the third fight, where Wilder hit him with that right hand and broke his fucking hand, by the way. And Fury crumbled. Like his whole body shook, right? From head to toe. His whole body crumbled. If that shit happened to Joshua, he's going to sleep. It's good night. Roll out the blanket. Pacifier. Put him on his side. There you go. Sleep. Like it's done. There's no way Joshua's taking that. You saw what Andy Ruiz did to Joshua. If you want to talk about like past fights, well, let's look at that then, right? Oh, Joshua's a better boxer. It don't matter. I don't agree with that, but it doesn't matter. Even if that is true, it doesn't matter. All Wilder's got to do is Dominic Brazil his ass. And he'll time that right hand. Joshua doesn't have the footwork ability or even the defensive responsibility to be able to keep a ferocious and determined and in a healthy weight Deontay Wilder.
Nor does he have that head movement that Fury got.
Yeah, it's literally gonna be like a lion on a fucking hyena, like a hyena by itself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just gonna pounce on his ass. And Joshua, like the hyena, is gonna try to bite and fight back a little bit. But at the end of the day, Wilder will get him in his jaws and fucking clamp down on his ass, and it's a wrap. Period. And Joshua knows this. Joshua knows this. You know what I'm saying? He knows, like, he's been known this. He's like, shit, man. He saw what he did to Ortiz. He saw what he did to Ortiz's big ass. And he said, shit. I already know my chin. If Wilder hits me with that shit, it's a wrap. So I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna try to take care of Andy Ruiz.
And it looked like Wilder was getting his ass beat in that fight. The second, or was it the first one or the second one? Well, kind of both of them. He was getting that shit put on him, but he just, like you said, a stint of chill. I mean, a chin of steel. He got one. I don't know what it is. He don't catch the punches or nothing, bro. That's what I want to see his next fight. Learn to catch some fucking punches on the gloves, please. Because he was just letting Fury hit him clean the whole time. 11 rounds, clean punches, just beating him. It didn't go down.
But Shavo, we talked about that earlier. I think you came in a little bit later. I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you as far as being defensively responsible. I'm always an advocate of defense. I put that above offense personally. But because in this sport, if you're not defensively responsible, you're not going to last long. It doesn't matter how good you are offensively, right? So what we have to highlight, though, is that a big reason on why Wilder couldn't keep his hands up in that third fight is because he was exhausted. He was too big and he was too heavy, and he can barely throw punches, let alone keeping his hands up, trying to absorb 270 pound man coming at you, right? And if you're like, well, I don't know. Well, let's rewind the tape real quick. Look at Wilder Fury 1. Wilder was very defensively responsible. Not so much with his gloves, but his feet kept him out of danger. You don't have to catch punches on your gloves if you don't have to. There's no rule that says a punch is coming at you and you got to block it. You can slip it. You can duck it. You can step back, right? So in the first fight, you saw that because he was 220 pounds, not 238. Or I think it was like 218.
Yeah, I agree.
You get my point.
I agree. His feet did keep him out of trouble. He'll do this thing where he'll just put his hands out and scoot back. He's so fucking long and tall, nobody could really touch him until Fury. But even then, he was tired.
And you look at the Bermain-Servine fight, the first one, he outboxed him for 12 rounds. Bermain couldn't hit him with nothing. He couldn't touch him. So that whole third fight was by round 3, exhaustion. He was too fucking exhausted, but he had too much heart to go down. So it looked bad. It looks bad sometimes when you're getting hit flush and you got too much fucking heart to go down. And you're not able to get your hands up. It looks bad, right? But a lot of that shit was exhaustion, man. I'm telling you, and people have to understand and realize that when we criticize the defense a little bit too much, we have to be honest and say he was just too damn big and too heavy, and he didn't have enough if you've ever boxed before, two things that happen when you get exhausted. One, your legs stop working. The second thing that happens is it's hard to be defensive. It becomes way harder. So that's why you see a lot of clinching. The first thing goes,
them hands come right down.
It's exactly it. So that's why you see a lot of clinching, a lot of holding, especially in the heavyweight division. Their arms get tired, their legs get tired, they're leaning on each other. And so that's boxing. If anybody's ever boxed, you know that feeling. Even in the lower weight classes, these guys, their hands start to drop a little bit too, and they start getting clipped. So it happens, and we gotta understand that. Blocko man, I see you, bro. I appreciate you stopping by tonight. Obi, I see you in the building. What's good? Pierce the weather.
I just finished watching that Robert Helenius fight again, and he was tired by like the second, third round. So this should be a good comeback for him if he do choose this round.
Yeah. So for Joshua, guys, like I said, I got Joshua I see him getting smoked in 3. I see in that fight Wilder just putting his foot on the gas. Because Joshua can't fight worth shit going backwards. It's terrible. He can stand in front of you, throw big punches. He can walk forward a little bit. But you put pressure on him like Andy Ruiz did. Wilder literally comes out, throws a big-ass jab and a big-ass right hand right in the first round. Let me see if I can land on this motherfucker. And he may be able to land it, maybe not. Maybe lands it partially. But once Wilder sees that range early, it's a game over. The only thing Joshua's got is try to like catch Wilder coming in or something like that. But does he have the heart and ability to throw that punch when a guy's trying to knock your fucking head off, and you know going into that fight Wilder is known to put people to sleep. This isn't Usyk.
He couldn't even do that shit against Usyk. So hell no. He was up against the rope smiling and shit. Like, you're getting your ass beat, bro. Fight back. Do some shit.
Yeah. So I got him beating Joshua in 4. I'll swing it around the panel. In a Wilder, and now, of course, guys, we're assuming that Joshua beats Usyk in the rematch. So that's why we're playing this little conversation here. So if Joshua beats Usyk, Wilder beats Helenius, let's say, now he's got a title shot against Joshua. Who wins that fight and how? And I'll start with the underrated one.
I believe Usyk gonna win.
Joshua wins,
mm-hmm.
How do you see the fight playing out between Joshua and Wilder?
I don't think Joshua will want no parts of Wilder. And for me, we always seen what Joshua don't have no. He not conditioned. He gets tired fast, and I'm just seeing Wilder just gonna steamroll him within 5 rounds.
So 5 rounds
Mm-hmm.
if they do fight.
Yes.
Okay, cool. D Free, how do you see a fight between Wilder and Joshua?
If this fight happens, I see Deontay Wilder knocking Joshua out roughly about 6 or 7 rounds. Deontay Wilder, we all know, has one of the greatest jabs in heavyweight, and we know he has a dynamic right hand. And the thing about Anthony Joshua is his mental was not there no more. Ever since he got stopped against Andy Ruiz, he's been scared to take a punch. We've seen that in the last couple of fights he had. He's been scared to take a punch. That's how he lost to Usyk. Me personally, I don't think he's going to beat Usyk in the second fight. But if he happens to beat Usyk and they try to make this fight, I see Wilder beating him in 6 or 7. And another thing is, Anthony Joshua is a sucker for a right hand. He gets hit with right hands all the time. And that's Deontay Wilder's favorite punch is his right hand. So I don't see him. He might not even last to the 6th round, but I say roughly about the 6th or 7th round.
All right, sounds good. Chavo, how do you see it?
Kind of piggyback off him, but except for I think AJ will win the rematch. He could have won the original match. It's that dog he does not have in him. Like I said, he was up against Rose smiling and shit. But if they fight again, I see it below 6 or 7. Well, below 7. I see him taking a knockout. I just as soon as he gets hurt, it's over with. And I believe even in his camp, they all knew before even he fought Ruiz that he was chinny. He has some problems with his chin. I think ain't no way you go that long, especially in that division, and never know that ever. You never felt the sting, never felt the wobble off a little punch, and it just fucked with his mental. His biggest problem is his mental, and I believe he's still, especially going to get a killer like Deontay. Oh no, you're gonna have to be a killer too, or crazy as fuck like Fury. You're gonna have to have something mentally wrong with you, not just mentally be a bitch.
Yeah, I just think at the end of the day, I agree with D Free. He's never been the same. You saw these little different shades of Joshua in the first Usyk fight where he's battling with his own alter ego or some shit. It's he has moments where he's kind of tough, and then other moments where he's just scared.
You could put his fire out way too easy. Way too easy.
Yeah, and it's weird watching it. It was weird watching it because he had a few little moments where, he touched Usyk, and Usyk was like, "Oh shit," but he couldn't follow up with it. He didn't have the killer instinct, and when he almost got stopped in that 12th round, for me it was over for Joshua. For me, in this rematch for him and Usyk, he's got to prove a lot to me. I have a lot of doubts about Joshua right now. And this whole thing with new trainer with Garcia and all this revamping of,
you think he can knock him out?
100% Usyk can be knocked out. And Anthony Joshua has the physical ability to knock him out, but he doesn't have, in my opinion, the heart, the determination, and the killer instinct to do it at this stage in his career. And that's why he'll lose the fight in the rematch, in my opinion. But we're gonna construct a panel probably Friday night or Thursday night before the fight, and we'll get people's opinions on it because to be honest with you, there are people who thinks that Joshua's gonna win. There are people, so we're gonna get a panel together and talk about it. I predicted, I think on my prediction video, Usyk by decision. Now, I do think that Joshua will be a bit better than the first fight because he got no choice to be a bit better. But I don't think it'll be enough. I don't think it'll be enough. But
that's Joshua.
I'm looking forward to
only choices. And his only chance of winning that fight is by knockout. He cannot outbox Usyk.
Facts.
Yeah, he's not outboxing him 100%. And I think,
and he won't even hurt him enough to where Usyk won't stop coming. Usyk got hard. He'll get hurt and keep coming for your ass.
Yeah, Usyk got that. Yeah, Usyk got that kind of like that darkness about him. You can kind of look into his eyes. He got those crazy eyes. Usyk got those crazy eyes. That's a dude. I don't want to do a face off with him, man. He'd be looking fucking crazy.
Kind of look like he used to do drugs.
Like it's like a type of dude you punch him in the face and he smiles at you, type shit, like that wild shit. But that's what Fury does. You punch him in the face and he like sticks his tongue out at you, licks your blood and shit. That shit's crazy. Now let's look at Usyk and Wilder. I can see Usyk taking that fight deep. I can see him stretching it out, and just being on the back foot and just trying to force Wilder, the bigger guy, to kind of like try to chase after him a little bit, and he'll just pinpoint Wilder. Jabs to the body, right hands in, moving out, and I can see this fight going deep into it. It could have shades of like Wilder Fury 1, actually. Where Fury in that fight boxed and he tried to stay away from Wilder for the most part, and I can see Usyk doing the same thing and actually taking some pages out of that book, and just try to keep Wilder from being able to land that big right hand. But as we know from the first fight with Fury and Wilder, he finally did get that right hand in. The difference is between Fury and Usyk is I think if Wilder does land it against Usyk, I don't think Usyk's going to get up. He's just a smaller man. I mean, at the end of the day, he punched Fury, a 70 plus man, who can absorb a lot more of that punch than what Usyk is going to be able to do. And I just don't see, if he does land flush against Usyk, I think it's a wrap. But if I were to leave a prediction on it, it's a fight, in my opinion, that can go the distance and be a draw. Where, very similar to the first fight between Fury and Wilder, where, Usyk is boxing well and Wilder has his moments and lands some big punches or whatever, or even knocks down Usyk, and Usyk was able to like stumble up and survive the round and shit like that. But I can see it going the distance, man, and I can see it being a draw. I know a lot of people will say Wilder knocks him out. He would have to hit Usyk with the perfect punch, I think. I know a lot of people think that Wilder's power is undeniable. It doesn't matter where he hits you. He can knock you out, whether it's on the top of the head, the chin, whatever it is. But Usyk is pretty good at, like, even though he gets hit, he moves out of the way just enough to take steam off of punches. He did that against Joshua.
Like Canelo.
Exactly. So Wilder would have to catch him flush with something that he doesn't see. Literally replicate how he landed on Fury in the first fight with that right hand, left hook follow-up, and just time that right hand perfectly like he did against Dominic Brazil. Something like that. If he's just winging big, strong punches, I think Usyk will be able to take just enough steam out of it to, even if he gets knocked down, it's not strong enough to like knock him out. And that would put it into a 12-round matchup. So that's how I see that fight playing out. But great fight for history if Usyk and Wilder ever get in the ring together, because Wilder will do much better against Usyk than what Joshua, in my opinion, will do against Usyk. And that will make it a much better fight, in my opinion. So what's your thoughts on it?
Almost the same, except for if Wilder, like you said, if he doesn't just do the 1-2, if he puts a 1-2, 3, and a 4 behind it, even just a third, just throw a little combo, that's going. I think then he'll be able to get the knockout. Even if Usyk goes in a high guard and he hits him with a 1-2, that can still hurt him very well. He's done it for bigger guys than Usyk, but Usyk does have, like we talked about, that mean streak, and he has a good chin too, and he's gonna keep coming back. But after 12 rounds, if you just stand on the back foot, he gonna have to use some angles and not get hit at all. he not gonna just don't let Wilder touch you too much. Because if he do, I don't see him going that far. He's still so small. And I think we kind of forget this nigga Wilder power is something serious. 270, and he dropping this man. I don't believe he will. No, he was, like I said, AJ could have won the first fight. We've all even said he has the ability to win the first fight. He just didn't bite down. He just won't bite down. And I know who will bite down. And that's Wilder. Wilder definitely will bite down, but draw is definitely foreseeable. I could see it, but I don't know. I think he hurts him. Usyk can't hurt Wilder. I don't believe he can hurt Wilder. He will have to be beating his ass, like just beating his ass, 10-punch combos every round. I don't think that's gonna happen, but yeah, Malik's still training him too. I think them body shots gonna slow him down. I just think he'll be moving around at first, and then he'll just slow down, and that explosive power, that right hand, he gonna put up that high guard, and it's gonna go straight through that motherfucker.
Yeah. So Don Shota back in that super chat, and he says, or he asked rather, is Malik still training Wilder? To my knowledge, yes. To my knowledge, I think they do have a bond. I think they're friends more than anything.
And he trains his son, right?
Yeah. And I do want to say this though, in regards to Malik. Malik got a lot of criticism after the third fight. I don't agree with the criticism, because I think a lot of the mistakes that Wilder did in the fight, well, first off, as we've already explained, he was just too damn heavy to do anything that Malik wanted him to do anyway. But what we saw Wilder do in the first round, that was Malik Scott. We have never seen Wilder come out like that when he was with Wilder-Breland. When he came out going to the body against Fury like the way he was, that
hard ass body shot.
Yeah. That was Malik Scott right there. So Malik Scott had a game plan. It's just that Wilder just gassed out. I mean, it is what it is. He couldn't do what Malik needed him to do. And it became a fight where Malik probably just told him, like, look, man, you just got to survive, and you got to try to land something. You got to try to time something. The whole, he just didn't have the legs anymore to go to the body and come back out and, use the jab the way he wanted to use the jab. He just didn't have the energy. So I don't, and I didn't agree with the criticism of Malik Scott. People coming out here attacking him, saying he's a shit trainer. You should have never got rid of Wilder-Breland, all this other bullshit. Well, I tell you one thing that Malik Scott didn't do. He didn't throw in the towel. He let Wilder go out on the shield. And that's precisely why Malik
Even
Scott's
some people
still
have
around.
a problem with that. And that's gay as hell that people got a problem with that. Because that's what made the fight what the fight was.
Oh, people got a serious problem about it. They got a problem with the fact that Wilder fans, according to them, quote unquote, can't let go of the fact that the fight was stopped. Well, no, we would let it go. We would accept it rather if, like, the referee stopped it, or if Wilder went down, or if Wilder quit, or if Wilder whatever, like legitimate reasons. Like, a corner throwing in a towel is not always legitimate. I would say it usually is, but it's not always legitimate. And so the argument's always, well, we got to protect the fighter. They got to. That's their
Case in
responsibility.
point, like Sean Porter, that should have never happened. Towel after 2 fucking drops.
Right. And so, it wasn't a situation of protecting the fighter, in my opinion. And I don't share that same opinion with many people. People like praised Breland for stopping it. But I think a lot of that was also because they just wanted to see Wilder lose.
Yeah, it is, because or either boxing is just getting too pussyfied, because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, even they talking about what T.O. just said, how you want to flatline somebody. Like, why is this a problem to y'all? Y'all know they signed up for this shit, right? I don't care. Like, if I really never wanted to see somebody down on TV, I wouldn't cut on boxing, because I know it's a possibility. Just like they knew it was a possibility when they signed up for this shit. And I'm watching it because I like fucking violence. So what's the problem here? He willing to die in that bitch, and he willing to kill. I'm not saying go kill him, but hey, that could just be me, because I it seemed like that one time I was talking about on the panel, I was selling along. I want to see brutality and violence in there, especially with heavyweights. I'm not watching y'all pity patting, especially if that's what you're known for, the bronze bomber. Blow some shit up, please. Thank you. That's what I want to hear from my fighter. I want to hear my defense is impregnable. I want to hear the Mike Tyson shit.
Yeah, I mean, different strokes for different folks. I mean, Lennox Lewis was something different. You know, he had defense and offense. And one of the best to ever do it. Obviously, we know Ali in his younger days, you know, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Those type of styles, I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, I mean, if I've already expressed this on multiple occasions. What's up, Arturo and Big Dog, man? Big Dog Willie in the building. What's good? I've expressed this. Oh, Duke Todd too. What's up, Duke? I've expressed this many times, man, on live, where I've been in corners. As a cut man, as an assistant trainer, and fighting as well when I was younger. It's never a difficult situation when a fighter is in trouble, right? So the moment that people criticize us for being upset at Mark Breland or calling or not necessarily being upset. I mean, I'm not personally upset at Mark Breland. Why? Because I don't know the man. And he wasn't working for me. He was working for Wilder.
Facts.
So I don't have anything personal against Mark Breland. I ain't calling him names. I'm not like attacking him. I'm simply saying that he crossed the line. And Wilder had every right to fire his ass. Because Mark Breland, at the end of the day, was an employee. And Wilder understands his job. And the fact that he's hurt. I mean, he's in the fucking ring. He knows he's hurt. Right? And here's the exclamation point to it that ends all debate, in my opinion. And be ready for it, right? And listen closely. So when you go back out there, if this debate ever comes back out, this is all you got to say to people. If your stance is Breland did the right thing by helping his fighter, and he saw Wilder in trouble. Wilder wasn't punching back. Wilder was hurt. He had blood coming from his ear. His eardrum was busted, which, by the way, that's what Breland told Wilder when Wilder went to the ring apron and was like, "Well, why the fuck did you stop the fight?" And Mark Breland pointed at his ear, says, "Your eardrum's busted." So that was the reason why, according to Mark Breland, why he stopped the fight. But if you feel like that's what any trainer should have done, it was the right call, you can keep that notion. You can keep that opinion. Because 9 times out of 10, I would agree with you, except for one small thing that is actually the biggest thing. At no point during the fight did Breland warn Wilder that if he doesn't show something, he will stop the fight. You have to warn your fighter. You have to give them a chance. You have to tell them, you may be fighting to the death, but my responsibility is to protect you and to save you from yourself. Therefore, if you don't fucking do something right now, I will stop it. And you can hate me for it. You can fire me for it. I don't give a fuck. But I'm not going to let you take damage like this. So I'm warning you right now while you're sitting on this stool.
That would have lit a fire under his ass.
If you don't do something, I will fucking stop it. That conversation never happens. And as a matter of fact, he wasn't really saying anything. JD's was behind him, putting ice on his chest and his neck or whatever, and he was doing more talking than what Mark Breland was. So what does that tell me? That tells me that something happened behind the scenes between Deontay and Mark for them not to be able to have any type of conversation during the fucking fight. One of Wilder's biggest fights of his life, and you can't have an open conversation with a fighter, a guy that you've been with for what, over a decade? So something happened behind the scenes, either that night, the week before, maybe it was going on for months. We don't know. But if you don't warn your fighter that they're looking like shit, and if they don't do something, you're going to stop it, and then you just randomly throw in the towel, that's fucked up. That is fucked up, because now you take the chance of glory away from a warrior. And yes, he deserved to be fired for that shit. And I'm speaking from a fighter's perspective of you have to be saved from yourself sometimes. But it's my responsibility. You said you have the responsibility of the corner to save the fighter. Okay, that could be true. But you also need responsibility within the fighter. The fighter kind of, in a way, loses all touch of reality in a fight. So yes, you do need somebody in the corner to be that kind of that realization, someone to bring you back down to reality, to be that angel on your shoulder, essentially, to be like, to whisper in your ear and be like, yo, like let's not forget why we're here. Let's not forget that your wife, your kids are sitting ringside. Let's not forget that you have a life beyond boxing. I am your voice of reason. And I'm speaking that as I've been in fights and my whole fucking brain just shuts off. Your adrenaline is pumping. You don't think about that shit. You don't think about like when I've been in fights before, I don't even know who's in the fucking crowd. I'm in the zone. I'm like focused on the fight. You lose touch of reality. You don't think about dying. You're like, if I die, I die. Like, that's your fucking, if you're that type of fighter, that's who you are. And Wilder is that type of dude. He's like, if I die, I die. Fuck it. Like, I'm not losing. I'm not getting knocked out. Like, whatever, right? So you need that voice of reason. I 100% support that. But there's a process, especially when you're dealing with a fighter like Deontay Wilder or any fighter for that matter. You got to keep their ass on the stool, because if they don't, they'll go in there and hurt themselves, right? But you got to do it the right way. You got to fucking warn your fighter. And the fact that that never happened, it doesn't matter what you say about the stoppage. It literally means nothing to me, because when you randomly throw in the towel without any type of conversation, that's some sly, deceptive shit right there. And that's my opinion, and I'll fucking die with that opinion until somebody else proves me otherwise. Unless somebody can provide evidence that Mark Breland warned Wilder, then you don't got to say shit to me. There's nothing you can say to me, period.
Devon, I know we was talking about Usyk and Joshua possibly fighting Wilder, but I think who the easiest fight to make and who I think probably wants it, I think maybe is probably Ruiz. I think that would happen before AJ or Usyk.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the bottom line is that I just want to see him come back, and I want him to look good. I don't care who it is, really. I just want him to look good and perform well. And
you think you do that against Ruiz?
I think an Andy Ruiz fight is very possible. Andy's got to get past Ortiz, and that's not a guarantee.
Yeah. And then I think he's starting to look really, really chinny.
Who's that?
Ruiz.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not. He doesn't have like the best chin. But he doesn't have a Chris Areola chin, and I use that reference as a Mexican American heavyweight, right? But basically, he does have the heart though of a Mexican fighter.
Yeah,
if he can get up, he will, and he fights
like one too.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that fight personally. It's not as big as Joshua Usyk, but it's a hell of a good heavyweight matchup. And
Yeah, he
I'm
won't be
looking
taking
forward
no
to that
steps
one.
back.
But Wilder has to sit back and I think wait for. This is why Helenius makes sense, because Joshua and Usyk's engaged in a fight. He has to wait to see how that fight ends up. Ortiz and Ruiz isn't locked up in a fight. He has to see what happens there as well, because if Ortiz wins, he's not going to fight Ortiz for a third time. So Ruiz has to win that fight to get Deontay and for Deontay to chase it. Otherwise, it's just not. He's not going to fight Ortiz for a third time.
Yeah, I just thought about something. They might put him on the. Oh no, they wouldn't do that. Maybe the same month in December. I was about to say they'll put him on that Terrence Crawford card and Spence.
Yeah. So I think that someone came in here. I think it was Deanna earlier. She said that Tay Jones dropped a video. We know that Tay Jones is close to Deontay's camp. He suggested that it will more than likely be Helenius. So that's where I see it leaning towards. When I first started the stream, there was a lot of speculation about him possibly going to cruiserweight because he looks like he lost a lot of weight in recent photos. I don't see that happening. I think he's just losing weight because he's back in the gym.
I think he said before he's not even interested in doing some shit like that. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I understand why he said that, because people gonna talk shit, bro.
He did once. He flirted with the idea in our interview, but he came back later and said, nah, I'm at heavyweight. I'm going to be at heavyweight. I want to be the best at heavyweight. I just don't see him going down to cruiser. And the fact that he's looking like he lost a lot of weight it's just a poor indication that he might go to cruiser. I think it's a reach by these boxing articles and journalists. I just think he's in the gym. He's losing weight. He's losing water weight. He's losing a bit of muscle. He's getting back into fighting shape. And once a fight is signed, sealed, and delivered, he'll put on a little bit more muscle and be at the weight that he knows that he needs to be at. And I think he learned from the Wilder Fury third fight, especially, that 230, anything above 225 is too much. And I think he learned that. So
what
I
month?
Think this is
maybe around what month they might fight?
Probably October. Which will be exactly a year from his last fight.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably say like end of October, which means that they would probably announce it here in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. So for me personally, and I can peek back at the poll, and it looks like 42% is still saying Helenius should fight Helenius first and then go for the titles. If I were to vote in the poll, that's what I would vote for as well. It makes the most sense to me. Who we got in the backstage? Obi, what's up, bro?
Yeah, I want to see him get them titles again.
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, but can you hear me?
I hear you, bro. What's on your mind?
Nah, because, I made some comments and people make it seem like I'm like a Wilder hater, but I'm just speaking facts. Like, I said that he might not get the title shot if he wins because he might have to fight the loser, because the winner of AJ and Usyk might have to fight Fury.
That's if Fury comes back. We don't know what he's going to do.
Because if he's retired, he got to vacate that thing then. If Plus,
yeah, for sure.
I see Wilder fighting the winner of Ortiz and what's brother's name, and Andy, and the winner of that becomes the is number one for the WBC. And I see that coming. Like, it's very obvious.
You think what's coming up? Sorry, I got distracted.
No, I'm saying like Ortiz and I said like the winner of Andy and Ortiz is going to fight Wilder. The winner will be the will be the number one for the WBC.
Yeah, but will Wilder fight Ortiz a third time?
I mean, Canelo fighting. You see Canelo in like for Triple G.
Yeah, but that's 3 times. Yeah,
anything is possible.
yeah, but
those fights are closer too.
Yeah, but those fights were way closer, and Ortiz was knocked out twice. So the only way that you can promote it is like, oh well, Ortiz was doing good until he got knocked out. You know, I mean, maybe. I mean, Ortiz. The only way Ortiz can entice Wilder for a third fight, and I believe Ortiz, if he got the opportunity, he'll take it. But the only way he has any chance to get that Wilder third fight is he has to knock out Andy Ruiz. He's got to knock him out. Like, there has to be no question that he's still got enough power to possibly knock out Wilder. You know, he can't be in a dog fight for fucking 12 rounds and then he gets a decision and then somehow Wilder gets that third fight. I just don't see it happening.
And somehow, I don't know why Fury, but somehow it's always come around. It seems like he doesn't want to, he won't come back for Usyk if Usyk wins. Like, that's a no-go for him. But he'll come back. I think he even said before he'll fight AJ. Of course, it was probably tongue-in-cheek, saying he'll fight AJ for free or whatever. But I think he'll fight AJ again. But if Usyk wins like how everybody thinks he's going to win, Tyson Fury not even in the picture.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I think Usyk's going to beat Joshua, but I want him to win as well, because if Joshua wins, I don't think Joshua will ever fight Wilder, ever.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah. You already know that.
But Usyk will. I think Usyk would fight Wilder.
Fact.
I think he would.
I think he got that heart in him.
Yeah, he's built that way. I'll fight anybody. Fuck it. Like, let's go. But Joshua, he'll try to make a fight with Fury or some shit. He'll try to, we got to make a fight in the UK with Tyson Fury. Yeah, because,
right, and it's going to take so long. I need a tune-up real quick.
Yeah, Tyson and I, we've been trying to do it for quite some time now in London. And so let me do that first. You know, like that type of shit. I can hear it already. I can fucking hear it already. And so...
Oh, the UK accent's so good, though.
I've been around a lot of UK dudes, man. You travel the world, but you meet a lot of people from the UK. But they'll tell me my accent shit though. But I don't give a fuck. But look, I mean, it's just funny to emulate Joshua because it's like when he speaks, there's just something about him that just makes me feel like, is this dude, like, hold up, is he like an underwear model or is he a boxer? You know what I mean? Like the way he presents himself, and the way he talks. Is this dude like a catwalk underwear model? Or is this,
the only time he wasn't talking like that is like after his loss.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't listen to him more than like 4 or 5 minutes because it's just. I hate to do him like that. I mean, I think at one point in time, I didn't mind him, you know, when he was a champ and he was doing his thing. And I see his picture fucking plastered everywhere, representing Under Armour, because, you know, he's like an ambassador for Under Armour. And, you know, whatever. I didn't mind the dude. Like, all right, cool. But yeah, after the Ruiz fights and then the shit that he was saying and the ducking of Wilder, to me, he became suspect. And that's just how I feel about it. And if he goes in there and he knocks out Usyk, I'll give him his credit. I'll give him his just due.
Yeah, facts. 100%. Because he deserves it. I think he's more than capable of doing it, bro. But I also think Usyk, after giving him that to him being a master boxer, giving him that time, and he watching that fight over again, because I think he gonna come out. Well, shit. Even AJ changed how he came out. But I think the only way he changed how he came out when he fought Ruiz was he just boxed then. He didn't really change nothing. He didn't take no risks. He just boxed him. So, I don't think there's nothing much he could really do except for pull that dog out. But that shit got to be in you, bro. You can't be finna be fucking 40 years old and we're going to put some puppy in you. Nah, bro. You got to have that shit.
That shit.
I want to ask you, since this fight been getting closer, and even Devin fight been getting closer too, I see these two people, Wilder and Devin Haney, getting the most just dry hate, like for no reason. like just saying stupid shit, especially about Devin, because you can't say nothing about that man. So they just saying like crazy shit, just shit I didn't even know you can make up, just dumb shit and talking shit about Wilder dry, no reason. Or are you seeing this too, or is it just me? Because I'm seeing it on YouTube. Bro.
I see it
I
see it with Devin. Like they say that, oh, he's boring, shit like that. That's all I have. But that's all I.
Well,
see.
they said that about Mayweather for years.
Yeah,
yeah.
But
Tim Bradley, a bunch of people.
Andre.
There's
Ward.
other shit. There's other shit talking about Haney. It's not just boring. They say he ain't got no power. He can't hurt nobody.
And I'm just like, just beat his ass then.
If he goes up in weight, he can't carry any power up there. Blah blah blah. And it's like there's something amazing about boxing that never ceases to fucking amaze me. Is that when you see a performance that Devin Haney had against Kambosos, where he basically beat his ass with a jab.
Yeah.
With a fucking jab. He didn't even have to do anything else. I just put like, get past my jab. Oh, you can't do it?
And
okay,
marked
I'm gonna
his
keep
face up with that jab too.
Right? Yeah, oh for sure. And for whatever reason, which is if you know anything about boxing and any like if you've ever been in a ring or been around the boxing circles or trained in a boxing gym, even if it's like a casual dude that goes and gets a workout, what is the most fundamental punch? It's the jab, right? So to put Devin Haney in a position to display the jab so brilliantly, the number one fundamental fucking punch in boxing, but people still find a way to criticize it. They said, oh, well, he didn't throw any combinations. He didn't fucking need to. It's like, you motherfuckers want him to knock out. How do you feel about
this argument
when they
say
knock out Kambosos so badly, but why? This isn't. I tell people all the time. This is not a strongman competition.
Facts.
It's a boxing match, right? This is and this is not heavyweights. Heavyweights, there's a higher expectation. Yep. Okay, this is a lightweight boxing matchup, and Kambosos got outclassed by a far superior, higher IQ fighter who literally said, this is my jab. If you can get past that, then I got something else for you. But you couldn't even get past that. And people still found out a way, oh, but he was boring, man. Like, but then it's like, okay, it was boring, right? So you ready to put Kambosos back in there in a rematch? No, we don't want a rematch, man, because he won't engage. No, because he'll get his ass beat again. That's why. Right. And you know that.
And they saying he's boring. That's why they don't want to see him fight Loma. That's why they don't want to see him fight Tank. I'm like, so he's boring. So you don't want to see him against an exciting fighter, is what you saying? Because he gonna make them boring too.
Tank. What's gonna end up happening?
He gonna nullify
is Haney will end up like the new Mayweather, where people will slowly start buying and tuning into his fights because they just want to see him lose.
Yeah, and that's gonna be after Loma. After he whooped Loma.
Yeah, they're gonna do the same thing to him they did with Mayweather, right? They wanted to throw Canelo at him. They wanted to throw Robert Guerrero at him. They even at one point threw Diego Corrales at him when Diego Corrales was like he was terrifying at that time. They throw all these big punches. They throw Maidana at him. They throw Cotto at him, and Cotto fought Mayweather at a much healthier weight than what Pacquiao fought him at. Facts. So, and it didn't matter. And when I remember, it's so funny, Canelo fans, right? I'm about to go on Knockout Boxing panel and do a debate, so I should probably keep this bit of information for myself.
Oh shit, when?
But we're constructing it right now.
Okay, announce it on the little community tab whenever you do, so I can go watch that shit.
Oh, most definitely. Oh, I'll be sharing the link for sure. But I always find it ironic how Canelo fans always say, "Oh, well, he was too green when he fought Mayweather." Well, you motherfuckers are the ones who said that Mayweather's got to fight Canelo because he's young and dangerous and strong and all this other shit. And as soon as he beats his ass, oh, he wasn't ready.
How is he green 40 fights?
But because wait, so what? He's fighting bums then? Oh no, I didn't say that. Well, he's got 40. So which one is it? He's got 40.
I think he had 43 at that time.
Did he fight bums or not? So they don't want to admit that he fought bums to get those 43 fights. So, but he's not experienced, but yet he's got 43 fights. It's like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. The fact of the matter is he got schooled.
And title defenses, I believe.
Now Canelo, he learned from that. So for Canelo, him losing to Mayweather didn't mean anything. I mean, his career went forward anyways. And he's now currently the highest selling fighter there is. So it didn't fucking matter. So I don't know what you guys are all bent out of shape about, but you want to criticize Mayweather. That's all it is. And the same thing is happening to Devin Haney. What they're going to do is eventually Devin Haney will beat some other guys here and there, outbox them, continue to do what he does. And then they're going to start campaigning for him to fight at 140, 147, to fight these big, strong guys, these big punchers. They try to make him fight Boots Ennis or fucking Virgil Ortiz or fucking these type of dudes.
They will, though. This is true.
And they will, because they're going to say, if they fight Tank,
they get
they'll say,
mad.
oh, well, Tank is too small. That's why Devin beat him, or they'll make excuses for that. So they'll try to campaign and they say, well, if Devin Haney's that good, he'll go up to welterweight. So he'll go up to welterweight, and then they'll try to get him up there. They don't want him to fight like Bud. They don't want him to fight any like boxer. They want
somebody to knock his head off.
Exactly. But then when Devin Haney beats one of these guys, when Devin beats one of these guys, then they still won't give him his credit. Just like when Mayweather beat Canelo and Mayweather beat Maidana and Mayweather beat all these other dudes, and they said, oh, he's big, he's strong, he can knock you out. Right? When Maidana was riding,
because it's gonna look so easy.
Maidana was riding the wave. He was riding the wave of dropping Adrian Broner and winning that fight against Adrian Broner. And people automatically, yep, that's him. That's the guy. That's the guy who can beat Mayweather. Look what he did to Broner. Since when was Broner at the same level of Mayweather? This is how
a lot of people I will be fair, a lot of people was comparing him to Mayweather. But it wasn't rightfully, because he never let his hands go. If Broner always let his hands go, shit, I wouldn't. I'll be like, he might be kind of like him. But yeah, Afro-Rican G in that super chat, man, showing appreciation, bro. I appreciate you, man, immensely. Thanks for dropping in a little bit late, but you're here nonetheless. I appreciate you. Look, yeah, the Devin Haney hate's unreal, bro. Like, I see it all the time, but yet I don't see anybody lining up to fight the man either. At all.
I don't see anybody calling out Devin Haney. I see Ryan Garcia bullshitting around talking about Tank. Now he don't want to fight Tank. Now he's going to fight some other fucking top 15 guy.
Jesus.
Right? Nobody's calling out Devin. Devin's out there trying to call out everybody he can. He's trying to fight everybody, but nobody's wanting to step forward. So how can you criticize a man when nobody
get ducked?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. How are you going to criticize a man who is obviously willing to do whatever it takes? If the man's willing to go to a foreign country,
Australia,
against all odds, right, and become undisputed. Like
here's the argument I've heard about him too. When you're levels above somebody, you're supposed to go in there and knock them out. This I'll tell you where it came from. This nigga punch drunk. When you levels above somebody, you're supposed to go in there and knock them out. I agree, but only if you've been knocking everybody else out. If that's not the name of your game, when you go in there with somebody that's not supposed to be in there with you, like a Camboso, you do exactly what he did. Win every round.
Yeah, but not every fighter is a knockout.
I'm saying. And some people can't be knocked out easy. Why is he still here? Why? Because he's durable. And you said, T.O. know better. Why is he still here? Knock this nigga daddy crazy. Oh, shit. What's up?
T.O. man.
Oh, T.O.'s fighting this weekend. So I'm about to call that fight and see how he looks. But right. I mean, he should beat Kampa. I mean, it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
But God forbid if Teofimo loses, bro.
Oh,
I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, I'm waiting for his dad to say some dumb shit. Oh my God.
Oh, you know it's coming.
Oh my God. He's
But
worse.
what if he?
I
Okay, do you
used
think
to
he's gonna
think
have a
Angel
good name
Garcia
still if he
was
goes
bad.
12 rounds?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a very good chance.
Both.
Good. I mean, well, Teofimo.
No, I'm saying, do you
knows-
think he will still have a good name? Like, you don't think people will talk shit about him if he goes 12 rounds?
Not if he looks good. If he looks good, it's fine. Maybe Kampa's tough. I mean, I don't know, man. But if he looks good, it's fine. But I'll just tell you this: he needs to win. That's the bottom line.
Sure. And it has to be a favorable win too. He can't just barely win.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, exactly. He's got to look good, win convincingly, knockout, stoppage, something like that. If you squeeze out a fucking split decision, it's
With
also not a good
Pedro
look.
Campa. Yeah.
And it's like I'm okay with the fight. I know, like, for a lot of people, they think it's like a little tune-up. I'm okay with it because I want to see Teofimo. I want Teofimo to have the opportunity, and his dad for that matter, to kind of show everyone that, like, okay, George was a little hiccup, but we back. I want that because now we get Teofimo back in the conversation. And don't forget, Teofimo and Devin Haney got bad blood. They got.
I know. I want to see them fight bad.
They got some shit to settle.
But do you think Pedro Campa's not a tune-up?
He is.
Right. That's what I'm. Because he didn't want Regis when Regis said something. So I'm thinking he already knows he's not that same guy, because you don't take a tune-up unless you believe I'm not the same guy.
That's a fair point, but at the same time though, like, he needs a
confidence booster for sure.
I need Teofimo and Devin.
Well, I guess this is why I brought it up, because the only problem I have with it is him saying he's still the same guy and blah, blah, but you don't go fight nobody we want to see you fight at 140. You go pick somebody up. I seriously never heard, maybe y'all have, maybe y'all a little more deeper in the boxing than me, but I've never heard of this guy.
I've heard of him. I've heard of him. I mean, he's not a taxi driver or some shit like that. I mean,
for sure. I watched his highlights. He got a little power.
He's been in some good fights. He's been around. I mean, boxing heads know who he is, but he's not in the top 5 or some shit like that. I mean,
but I think he could have found even a better name though at 140.
Look, man, at the end of the day, man, I want to see him,
because he's with Top Rank, and Top Rank got some 140.
Yeah. So I guess he got to get what he can.
I want to see, because I tell you right now, I don't think Ryan Garcia wants to fight Devin Haney.
Hell no.
I don't think Tank wants to fight Devin Haney. I don't think any of these dudes want to fight Devin Haney. But I do believe if Teofimo does well Saturday night, I think Teofimo will fight Devin. I think they'll fight. So I want Teofimo to win. I want him to look good, because they got bad blood. They got.
Once he gets up to 140, he may fight. I don't know. I guess I'll have to see who Teo fights after Campa. If he fights a serious contender or something, because it's a lot of dogs at 140. So if he do fight somebody serious, I'm like, oh, okay. Because I only TR remember as a TO for the past 3 or 4 years. The bullshit ass TO T Diddy, we got J-Lo and all this other shit. You don't really want to fight, especially nobody serious. So that's all I see. All I seen is Cambosos and Campa. All of these 4 or 3 years, and you talking shit. So he gonna have to show me. He's turning into Ryan.
I mean, how many?
That's why I think he wants to fight Ryan. That's who he want to fight at 140. He don't want to fight Devin.
How many times in boxing has it been proved that when you're not humbled, or when you're not humble, you will get humbled? And so all this, like, knocking dudes out, doing backflips and doing Fortnite dances and shit, like, something, hey, your ego got boosted up a little bit too much, young man. And Kambosos went in there, and he was willing to die that night.
He was.
Hell yeah, you seen it though.
Especially
after that, bro.
Especially after that.
It changed his life though. That one fight changed his whole life upside down. And you see how he started acting now.
That one knockout, man. The knockdown. Teofimo was shocked. Like, he was like,
hell yeah.
That proved to me that he literally had no game plan. He had no game plan for that fight. He just thought that he was going to go in and
knock him out first round. That's so stupid.
Yeah. And that's what he
so
thought.
Stupid.
And George was ready for that. George was ready for it. So, there's a lot of question marks above Teofimo right now. We're going to see if he learned from it, or is he too fucking arrogant to learn from it and go in there and look like shit against a guy who he should beat easily.
Yeah.
And so
and
we're going to find out.
Even that Loma fight, he almost lost. I think he could have almost lost that fight. It was a point in time it looked like Loma was almost going to stop him. I think was it the 10?
Well, Loma came on strong. He came in like the middle to late rounds.
Yeah.
And brought the fight back, to being a very competitive fight. The problem with Loma was that he started too slow.
Way too
way too slow.
I think he lost like the first 5 rounds, 6 rounds.
Yeah, and didn't swing for like the damn near the first 2.
I'm like, damn, what's going on?
I don't know what the fuck was going on, but he got a blessing that night. Because I think Loma could have beat him in a rematch, maybe. Or probably not. I don't know. That's so close of a fight.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and finalize this poll right quick that I've been having live. I know a lot of people were jumping in here a little bit late. You probably jumped in because you thought we were talking about Wilder. Well, we've been talking about him for a couple hours already. We just kind of got sidetracked talking about some other fights. But y'all can go back and rewind the tape. And we spent, like I said, a couple hours talking about different scenarios for Wilder. He is coming back. So that's one thing we do know for sure. On who he fights and what weight he's going to fight at is yet to be seen. But I have a feeling that something's going to be announced. I think something's going to be announced in the next couple of weeks. And we're going to know, what the deal is. But we should be excited nonetheless that the Bronze Bomber is back and looking forward to seeing what he has in store for us. And so on that note, in the poll, it ends with 42% says that he should fight Helenius first and then go for the titles. With a very close 35% saying that he should go and fight the winner of Usyk and Joshua right away. No tune-ups, just go in there, fight for the title.
I can see that. Go for broke.
And so either way, there's no wrong answer. It's just your opinion. And so I'll end the poll there with that. And so I think the next time I'll come on live, guys, will be, let's see, today for me is Thursday. So I think the next time I'll go live will probably be Saturday night to commentate the Teofimo Lopez fight and see how that goes down. And then I'll probably spend the week after that building up to the Usyk and Joshua rematch. I'll do some panels.
You got a prediction for it? The CO fight?
I haven't officially, but
can we get one right now?
Teo should stop him within 7.
7?
He should.
Yeah.
Within 7.
If it goes to decision, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I just he shouldn't lose this fight. I mean, I will.
Yeah, losing is crazy. If he loses, whoa.
I can't. But I'm not a betting person. But if I was, I would be hesitant to put money on Teo, man. I don't know if he's stable.
For real?
Yeah, I would too. I ain't gonna lie.
Damn.
I don't know if he's stable, bro. I think his dad be putting way too much shit in his head.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's his dad, bro. It's his dad. I don't know what is wrong with this man. He is crazy. And he's still training. They doubling down on that shit.
I used to think Angel Garcia was bad.
Angel Garcia?
Got nothing. Yeah. He got nothing on Teo's dad, bro. This motherfucker crazy.
They start saying crazy shit. Said, hey, we won 10-3. What?
Yeah. But no, the best one for me was post fight. I think who was interviewing him? I think it was like Ellie Setback or some weirdo like that. And
you call him a weirdo.
Straight up, Ellie fucking irritates.
Ellie do be on some weird shit though.
He's just a goose. He's just
with
a
all them
goober.
raggedy ass questions.
He's just a goober,
Leading
man.
people
He's
to
a little fanboy. Like he just asks like weird questions, and I don't know, man. I don't dislike him. Like, you know, he's been around for a long time. He's done a lot of stuff for the sport. I give him that credit, but it's not the type of dude that like I would hang out with. You know what I mean? Like he's just an awkward dude, and the questions that he asks is just cringy sometimes.
Oh, I'm glad I remember this.
He'll say some shit like hey, so you know, the fans are curious. Do you prefer wheat or whole wheat or white bread for your breakfast? And people are like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like it's just the weird shit.
I think he just do shit like that because he's been around so long. Just stupid shit.
He does it because he tries so hard to be different. But unfortunately, it's just too much. You know what I mean? Like he tries to be like the boxer's friend. Like, you know, like let me ride in the car with you, and you know, I'll interview you, and we'll make it fun and cool. And I won't ask any really tough questions. I'll make it really comfortable for you, and we can just talk about life. And you know, of course,
are like that though. I'm not gonna lie, but you do have a point though.
Yeah, except for new media, them the only people that's really pushing that line. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm asking you.
Well, for years he was like, I think my irritation of him started during the Mayweather-Pacquiao shit because he was spending a lot of time like with Pacquiao and Freddie Roach and the camp, and he was taking kind of sides in the whole like,
extra
negotiation
bias
process. And so I wasn't feeling that for sure because you shouldn't be biased, obviously. But he clearly was. And I think that's the thing about Ellie is like as a reporter, you got to be unbiased, and he plays sides. Yeah. That's why he's hanging out with Robert Garcia and Maidana during the Mayweather fight. It's like, why you always like hanging out? And that's why Mayweather called him out in the Mayweather gym one day. Ellie went into the Mayweather gym to interview Mayweather. Mayweather's like, what are you doing here, bro? Like, I thought you chilling with the Garcias and Maidana, which was true because he was hanging out with Canelo and Maidana and Robert Garcia and Mikey Garcia all the fucking time, eating dinner with them and shit, and like having fiestas and barbecues and shit. And it's like, you think that Mayweather doesn't know this? Like, Mayweather sees you hanging out with these dudes, and now like, so a lot of people said, oh, it was shady for Mayweather to do that, but I don't know, man. Like, you as a reporter, you can't like be hanging out with a fucking camp the whole time when you should be promoting the fight itself.
Weird.
So it's just weird, and he has a tendency of doing that. But you know, whatever, man. I try to knock a man's hustle. People like him. He does his thing. You know, reporting, like fucking whatever, bro. Like,
you know who the Zan commentator is? He commentated on a lot of fights. Fuck, I don't know his name, but I think he kind of looks Mexican a little bit, but I think he could be white. But they were just speaking about Virgil Ortiz, and a lot of people are starting to say this shit on the internet too, that this guy Virgil has a better resume than Boots, and he can beat Boots. I want to know what you think about
that. It's funny because Boots got more fights than Earl Spence, which is weird, but.
But I think it's who they fought. Obviously, I think
that's the thing. Quality.
That's the question. Who have you fought? And it's hard to for me, I'm more about eye test than I am resume.
Yeah, me too. Cause I was like, he do got a good resume. This probably is better than Boots, but that's why when it's hard to find somebody to fight him.
And let me solidify my point on that, because a lot of people come on here and when they argue against Lomachenko, they use the argument of like he hasn't had a lot of fights, but he got title shots and this and that and whatever, which I understand what you're saying, but Lomachenko passes the eye test. Like, there's no way you can deny that.
Yeah, for sure.
Even at 5 fights coming into the pros, he had already passed the eye test.
But I think what people are saying, because I said that shit too, is he's getting those opportunities, but it's a lot of other people that pass them eye test that don't get it.
Correct. That's the issue. So it's not the issue of him getting too much credit for only having a small amount of fights. It's the fact that there's not consistency, and like you said, passing the eye test and being you deserve title shots. He was getting title shots before other fighters who have who have clearly deserved it before him. That's the issue. But I more so lean towards the eye test than I do the resume. And for me, Boots passes the eye test. I don't really give a fuck about his resume. I can tell you right now, he can fight anybody at 147 and possibly knock them out.
Like, I
don't need you to say, oh, well, he hasn't fought X. I don't give a fuck about all that. I'm looking at the man, and I'm telling you right now, he'll fucking knock out Ortiz, or he has a very good chance of doing it. So, at 147, if someone said, Divine, if you can pick one fighter at 147 who will have a career with the most knockouts, who would it be? Right now, with an eye test, it's Boots Ennis, because Boots hasn't proven otherwise up until this point. Right? So
yeah,
I'm going to put my money where the statistics and the eye test points to. And the statistics and the eye test points to Boots. More than Bud,
I think his athletic
Earl,
ability just shoots him out of here.
More than all of those dudes. Now, if you said, who do you think will win, Earl or Boots, or Bud or Boots? I might pick Earl or Bud based off of experience. But that's a different question. The question that people have is based off of the ability to accumulate knockouts. That's Boots Ennis, in my opinion. So he passes the eye test.
They say he even got more power than Boots. I'm not sure. I think just the matchmaking is really good.
Who, Ortiz?
On Virgil's side. Yeah, they say Ortiz got.
Look, man, one thing you got to get familiar with in boxing is all about waves. So whatever the current wave is, right now the wave is Ortiz just won by knockout or by stoppage.
Facts.
So everybody,
recency biasy. Yeah, it's that recent bias.
If Boots fights next month and he knocks a dude out, everyone's gonna be riding Boots.
Yeah, he gonna knock out Bud and Terrence Crawford same night.
Same night. And all this, he's pound for pound.
Boxing is always like, what have you done for me lately? It's always the most recent fight, the recent whatever.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. People
think it's because these fights are so far apart.
Yeah, exactly. So, people are riding the Ortiz wave, and it's like the guy he fought a dude who had 2 knockouts. Like, get the fuck away from me with that shit. Like, he did what he's supposed to do. Michael
and the
McKinnon
dude was giving us some trouble too.
He was, but he didn't have any power to keep Ortiz off.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line. So, okay, you think he's good? All right, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm saying put him up against someone who can match him with punching power, and let's see what he does. I like a Boots. There's no reason why you can't make a Boots and Ortiz fight. There's no reason why you can't, and no reason why you shouldn't.
They all said they didn't want to fight him though. I'm like, bro, the fans be having more heart than the fighters. Virgil said he didn't want to fight him right now, no time soon, and his training. And his trainer's dad, right?
Something like that. I with Ortiz, I got a couple like messages on IG, messaging me like, I don't understand why black people and white people always hate on the Mexican. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? because we don't ride Ortiz's dick, just like we don't ride Canelo's dick. Like that has nothing to do with like they always. So basically, you're telling me you're basically you've already revealed yourself that you're Mexican,
right?
And so you get upset that we don't like ride another Mexican fighter's dick like you do. When I didn't even discredit Ortiz's victory whatsoever, my scorecard of that fight is right here, and I had Ortiz winning the whole fucking fight. Like, I don't think I gave McKinnon 1 round. So how was that hating? But
there's so many more people in that division better than him. I'm confused at how could you hate on him.
The problem is though, like I said, they ride the coattails or the waves of these victories. And so when Canelo beat Plant, everybody was like, wow, Canelo's fucking amazing. He's undisputed. Look at the power. Look at the power that he has. And then he goes up and gets his ass stomped by Bivol.
Bad.
So that's why I never, ever, ever play into the hype. Because when Mayweather was on his reign of terror, I always kept telling people, because I always betted for Mayweather, and I always predicted Mayweather to win in all of his fights. And obviously I was correct every time because he's fucking 50-0. But it wasn't until the Pacquiao fight. All the fights before that, when he won, I said, yeah, I told you so. But when he beat Pacquiao, that was the first time I came live. It was on my old channel. And I said, Mayweather's one of the greatest to ever do it. Because he had earned that title. He had earned my recognition for that when he beat Pacquiao. Because for years, they built Pacquiao to be that guy. To beat Pacquiao, or to beat Mayweather. And not only beat him, but to knock him out. So when Mayweather silenced the critics, and he didn't just do it by like squeezing out a tough decision. He outpointed Pacquiao pretty much the whole fight. It wasn't even close. So that's when I said, all right, Mayweather's one of the greatest to ever do it. Canelo hasn't come close to that, in my opinion.
And the Mexicans, it seemed like they don't like David Benavidez. For some reason, I'm thinking it's because he don't.
How could you not?
He want to fight everybody.
Maybe
he don't give a fuck about none of that extra shit. He want to fight Canelo. He want to fight all the Mexicans. He don't care.
Maybe it's because he's not from Texas. I don't know, man. It's weird.
It's something, or maybe he's not from straight Mexico. Like, I don't know what the fuck it is.
It seems like Mexican Americans from Texas always got a lot of headway, like Baby Bull Diaz, and I mean, there's so many examples of like Mexicans from Texas that have seemed to get more shine. But you know, Arizona fighters are relatively new on the scene.
Facts,
and that might be something to do with it. But in Arizona, because I'm from Phoenix, right? So,
shit.
I'm from Phoenix. So everybody in Phoenix, every boxing gym in Phoenix knows Benavidez, but Benavidez is super fucking famous in Phoenix. And and he
sells out there, I believe.
Oh, for sure. And he bounces around and goes to different gyms around Phoenix, and he's like a fucking celebrity. So eventually,
you ever seen him in person?
No, but I've seen his brother.
Jose.
Oh, okay.
I saw his brother once, but I've never met David. I
think his brother fell off after that Crawford fight, and that's sad because he gave Crawford a run for his fucking money at first.
David has always been a bigger star out of the two, even when they were younger. But they're like 8 years younger than me or something like that. So,
okay.
I was already traveling the world by the time they went pro.
Yeah.
But the times that I came back and I go into the boxing gym, I mean, that's all that people talked about was like, oh, this guy David, man, he's coming out of the area, he's going to be a champion, blah blah blah. And so now it's starting to come to fruition, and he'll get it. He'll get his credit eventually. He'll get it, man. He'll definitely get it.
I want to see somebody fight him for real too. I'm tired of this shit, man. I wish it was like the UFC.
I want to see him fight one of the Charlos.
Yeah, that too. Somebody, damn, Charlo, Plant. Somebody got to step up. Nobody's stepping up to fight him either.
Charlo not gonna fight.
Well, I think Plant is gonna fight Darrell. I think.
Right.
Probably after.
Plant not fighting no big hitter again until it's somebody maybe like Canelo again. He don't want to risk taking no risk that's low risk, no reward. So he not taking that.
I don't know if there's a date set. I mean, I like Plant, man. I think he's got a lot of skill.
He definitely does.
I just feel like he disappointed me in Canelo, man. He
did?
The whole talking shit was fucking weird. But
I don't think he was mad enough in there, like trying to get it done. He was going through the motions. It seemed like.
I was disappointed in his engine. I was disappointed that he didn't plan, he didn't prepare. I don't know if it was a spotlight, if it was adrenaline, if it was he took some body shots. I don't know what it was, but I was disappointed on him not being able to maintain, like, because to me, I had him up like I don't know, like maybe 4-2 going into the 7th round, something like
Yeah.
that. So he just couldn't maintain that movement and what he was doing early in the fight. He just burnt and he gassed out. I mean, it's as simple as that. And that part was disappointing because you would expect a guy like Caleb to be in great shape and to be able to box for 12 rounds.
I thought Canelo did.
Right, especially in the biggest fight of your life. He just barely dropped off that phone and boom, clocked his ass. Barely moved that hand down.
It says here that Caleb Plant, Anthony Durrell signed deal for super middleweight fight. A matchup between Caleb Plant and David Benavidez won't be happening just yet. Instead, Plant will be facing fellow former super middleweight titleist Anthony Durrell on a date yet to be determined.
It might happen.
That's going to be a great fight, but I'd rather see, him fight Benavidez. But it's still going to be a good-ass fight. I'm going to still watch that fight, though, especially after Durrell's last knockout.
It was on that undercard, too.
Word?
Yeah. Well, but look, guys, man, it's time for me to get my day going. It's been a great live, great conversations. A1 Hoop Zone, I don't know if you're still here, bro, but I see you checking in, bro. Nice to see you, man. Thanks for dropping by. Man, we got some great topics going tonight, man. I appreciate every single one of you guys, every single one of you that came in and smashed that like button. Appreciate all the super chats and any of you guys who became official members of the channel as well. I appreciate you. We'll be back, man. I'll be back for the Teofimo fight. I'll be commentating on it live, so don't miss it. You guys know how I do it when I do these live commentaries, man. We blow it up in here. It's fight party. And then the next week following that, a lot of panels coming up discussing the Usyk and Joshua rematch. That's definitely going to happen. And we might get some panels talking about Bud and Spence as well, just for kicks and giggles, just to spice things up. And as I mentioned, I am arranging things behind the scenes with Knockout Boxing. I'm going to be on the platform to do some debates, and I will inform you guys about that. So follow me on Instagram. Super important, guys, because a lot of these type of announcements, when I'm going live, if I'm going to do a debate or whatever it may be, a lot of it goes to my Instagram because I get more eyes on it than I do on the community tab here on YouTube. So follow me on IG if you're not. It's at Divine Sense Boxing. You can find me easily, and y'all can get the updates there. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. Y'all stay up, stay strong, stay positive. It's your boy Divine. I'm out.